This is our time, this is our time. Buried our roots on the front lines, digging in deep for the long night. Heartbeat steady, been fighting so hard all of my life. Getting so close and it feels like I'm taking my place in the spotlight. Better get ready, better get ready. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Never raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. We're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see. We're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. Legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on a battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this. it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series. Not the Cup Series tonight, but the FTSR All-Star Race here from beautiful Concord, North Carolina at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Jason Rockfell. Alongside me, Wesley Outland up in the booth, who had the privilege of calling the Open the other day, which was a very, very interesting race to say the least. And Charles Wooten will be pressing all the buttons for us here tonight. And Wesley, all-star night for these guys. I know it's half the field, but man, these guys are going to put on one heck of a show here tonight with these Gen 6 cars compared to the Gen 7 cars that we're all used to seeing and knowing by now.
Well, if it's any inclination of what we saw on last Wednesday night in the 325-lap segments for the open race, I think we're going to be in for a treat tonight. Close to 20 drivers, the best of Full Throttle, ready to go at it. No points, bragging rights, 4 segments, and I'm really, really looking forward to this evening. And it's awesome that it's back at the original home of the All-Star race, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the field is about to start beginning to pace around here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here's your Hunt the Front TV race information. No fast repair, 100% fuel load, unlimited tires tonight. 3 green white checkered attempts if need be. And the segments tonight are 40, 25, 25, and then it will be a 10-lap dash to the checkered flag here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it should be an interesting one, to say the least. 19 drivers ready to tango here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you caught the Open last week, you saw Ben Tracy pick up the Segment 1 win, with Rick Webb getting Segment number 2. and then Ryan Hedrick was your All-Star Open winner. So those were the 3 drivers that were able to advance into tonight's All-Star event. Here's your Kaufman Creative weather conditions. Perfect night for racing with the ambient air temp at 75, 6 mile an hour degree wind speed, and 78-degree track temperature. And Wesley, I haven't really seen a Gen 6 race here at Charlotte in quite some time, but this is going to be very, very, very fun to say the least with how on the edge these cars are.
I think the first 40-lap segment is going to be calm. Those mid-25 lappers are going to be kind of where you need to be to set it up for that final segment to make the run for the money. And obviously, 100 laps around this racetrack can fly by very quickly. It's all about the drivers minding their P's and Q's and having respect for one another, especially to make it there to the end. You want to be in that final segment to battle for the chance for the big money.
Yeah, and it should be awesome to see here tonight how this race goes. And the way that they formatted from all the way to qualifying to the Open, even tonight's race, Wesley, it really gives that feel of, those early 2010 to, mid-2010s type style all-star race where they had qualifying many nights ago, and they did the traditional, fly down pit road, come to your pit crew, and then try to fly out as long as you can. No pit road speed limit at all by any means when you came on, and then they obviously had the Open. So it's kind of, in a really sense, I know we were at Darlington recently, but this is almost kind of like a throwback all-star race per se, just because it gives that nostalgia vibe with the Gen 6 cars and also the format that this race is.
And I love the fact that it's at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Obviously, the All-Star race has been moved to Bristol over the years, and then North Wilkesboro the last couple of years. It'll be back there next year. And, of course, they ran it last night. And, Charlotte's where it started. And I got to give props to the folks behind the Full Throttle Sim Racing world for at least keeping this All-Star race here at Charlotte. It's going to be under the lights. It's going to be at night. I think it's going to be really, really cool once we get this field gridded. And like you said, they qualified on Thursday. Thursday night, they had that special qualifying with having to make a pit stop to set the lineup for the race. And obviously, once we get these guys gridded, they'll be ready to come right here on the track and get ready to go for stage 1.
And you know something, Wesley, growing up, obviously, I know I'm much younger than you, and you've seen the All-Star race go through so many different transitions over the many years that it's been around now for 40 years, I believe, or something like that, because I know Joey Logano won the 40th All-Star race yesterday. But one of my favorite things was always I would come home from school, and I'd sit down, and I'd be so excited to watch qualifying for the All-Star race. It was always like this spectacle of driver control, because you would go all the way from 3 and 4, then fly down at over 175 miles an hour down pit road, all the way to a complete stop in your pit box. And it really made for some interesting storylines. Also, some awesome saves that we've seen consistently throughout the entire seasons. You think back, Ryan Newman made an incredible save here back in the mid-2010s in that 31 machine that he used to drive. So always really cool tonight. But the one question that I want to ask you is, this is a very stacked field tonight. For these 19 drivers we had, we mentioned 3 drivers made it in from the Open, that being, Rick Webb, Ben Tracy, and Ryan Hedrick, who were either 2 segment winners or the Open race winner. This is a really stacked field. I mean, pick your poison. There's a lot of good guys who could win this race here tonight.
By the way, I find it kind of weird that Rick Webb is not here right now. Obviously, the other drivers that won the 3 segments on Wednesday night in the Open are present with the other All-Stars of the Full Throttle Series. But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on this. We'll watch all of this happening. And you're exactly right. I mean, you have that atmosphere of, so many talented guys on the Full Throttle Series. And this is their All-Star night. This is their night to shine. This is the chance to see what they can. And obviously you want to be there at the end. You don't want to be aggressive too early and get taken out. And obviously, as we move into the final segment of the race, I think that's whenever the intensity is really going to pick up, amp up. I think when we go from that final, 25 laps in that third segment into the last segment of the race to determine the winner, I think that's definitely where the intensity is going to pick up, and it's going to be fun to watch for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, and if you're obviously just tuning in, this is the FTSR All-Star Race, and they've been having quite a predicament recently trying to get one of the drivers, Rick Webb, actually into the race
Oh,
session.
wow.
So that's why this race has not started on time yet. But right now, they are hopefully having this third and final session that they just started, that we are in now, to gather up all these, 20 drivers is what it's supposed to be, because Rick Webb was that 20th driver. It looks like he has joined the session, so I believe everything is going to be okay once they get everybody back in. Richie Coy, one of the admins and also drivers here tonight, wanted to also say that they are going to run out this entire 11 and a half remaining minutes of practice. So we get to see a little bit of action from these cars on track here before we get going tonight, just so these guys have some time, because they've been sitting in the pits and at their sim breaks for so long, and hopefully now everything is settled in. But Wesley, we got some cars on track, and we're going to see who's got at least a little bit of speed here before we get gridded up for this All-Star race.
Robert Malicki in there. You see him in that number 16 machine coming down the front straightaway. Again, they're going to get a full 11-minute practice session to get everybody a chance to get a rhythm here with the track, because you got to think they haven't been on course since we obviously had the Open. And that's another thing that me and Brody Hanna kind of talked about on Wednesday night, Jason, was the fact that if you're one of these guys like Tracy or Webb, do you have a chance, Hedrick, do you have a chance being those three drivers that ran on Wednesday night to be one up on everyone else because you've already got that on-track time? We'll see how it all shakes out, but obviously right now the track conditions could be definitely different than what they were last Wednesday night, and obviously getting this opportunity to have this session, this practice session, is going to be also important before they grid to go for segment 1 here at Charlotte.
Yeah, and Wesley, I went back and watched y'all's broadcast the other night from the All-Star Open event, and one of the things that Brody Hanna talked about, because obviously there are some of these guys that just hopped on iRacing not even 2 years ago, so if you think about it, they started racing with the Gen 7 car, and Brody Hanna mentioned on the broadcast that there were guys hopping into these Generation 6 Cup cars that went from 2013 all the way to the end of 2021, and then obviously the Gen 7 car came out, or so-called the next gen era, and that's the thing. There's a lot of guys who we could see that are just really good in these cars tonight that we're not used to seeing run so well, whether it be the trucks, but obviously the new Cup cars. So there could be guys that really shock us here tonight, maybe like a Ben Tracy, who's been really consistent from last season in 2024A that just wrapped up a couple weeks ago. He could be somebody who's really good in this Gen 6 car. You just don't know, but this is why this practice session and also that open race the other day for those three guys who made it in, more track time, the more time you have in this car, I think the better you're going to be.
Right now, watching TJ Bartel go to the top of the board, 29,341 in that number 20 machine. As you see a big gaggle of traffic here, there's that 16 and the 27 battling alongside of the top 10. Malicki into the 16, Chapman in the 27. Plenty of room given for one another as they work their way back around the racetrack. Couple of Victory Fuel sponsored machines, obviously drivevictory.com, and remember, if you use that hashtag FTSR at checkout, how about this, Jason? You'll finally get a 10% off on your order. So that's cool that they're doing that for Full Throttle now.
Yeah, and that's absolutely awesome, and it's really cool to see for sure. And I'm really excited though for all jokes and whatnot, and All-Star race aside, I am very excited to see the B schedule come out here this week, with actually Wednesday starting up with the Truck Series. They head to Charlotte, which should be really fun, and then the Cup cars will take action next week, obviously after the Coca-Cola 600 weekend is wrapped up. Or actually, I believe they might be off on Memorial Day, but even so, even the Cup cars starting up, it's going to be a really fun schedule. I know, Wesley, that you joined us here for half the schedule or a little bit more towards the end of the last season, and it was really fun. These guys really get after it week in and week out. There's a lot of aggression, but there's also a lot of guys who are just out here to have fun. They like to have those bragging rights. They like to come out here, have fun, have little rivalries, and put on a show here. So it's really cool to see. But tonight, all that, the points, whatever it, means need be, all that's out the window tonight. This is all for fun. These guys are ready to hang out here, have a good time tonight, and it definitely should be fun.
Practice ongoing. Bar team right now at the top of the board. Brody Hanna now up to second. Jeff Chandler, Ryan Hedrick, one of the Open winners, as well as Michael Blackner for your top 5. And again, watching this battle heating up here in the practice session, you see how right now these drivers trying to fill this track out as quickly and best as they can. It's about 5 minutes down, 6 minutes left to go here in this practice session, and this is the last chance before they go into race mode for segment 1.
Yeah, and real quick, if we have it, Charles, let's take a look here at the All-Star race format, everything from qualifying to the Open, and then obviously to the race here tonight if we have that graphic. And there it is. So this was the All-Star weekend schedule. Obviously, 2 out of the 3 events are already complete. But at the bottom, you see the FTSR All-Star race format. So there's going to be 4 segments, just like traditionally. There'll be 40 laps, 25, 25, and then a 10-lap dash to see who will take home the marbles. And obviously, no caution laps counting here tonight, which could obviously be a big thing, Wesley. So that means these guys, if they wreck or whatnot, they know that the laps aren't going to tick down. So it really could make for an interesting race here tonight. It almost kind of reminds me of that, that short track style event on Saturday night. Sometimes there's a lot of tracks around the country that don't count caution laps, so it just gives these drivers more time to race, and obviously the fans and us up here in the booth more action to cover and watch.
There you see the 0-1 machine. That's Nathan Biggert and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles car working his Ford around the racetrack. 5 minutes remaining here in practice. This is it. Final practice session before they suit up and get ready to go to racing. Remember, they've already qualified. They qualified last Thursday night with, of course, that special 3-lap qualifying session, with also making that pit stop in the all-important pit stop to set the time for the race. And again, when these guys get out there, that is the lineup that is basically going to be happening. Is there will basically be the lineup from Thursday night set to determine it. And obviously, we're watching these guys take advantage of this last 4.5 minutes of practice before we get ready for segment 1 of 4, the 2024 Full Throttle Sim Racing All-Star Rack, and presented by Victory Fuel. It's race. It is race. The lettering's too big to fit it all in there.
Yeah, and we're going to have some big-time action here tonight for sure. I absolutely love this number 01 machine of Nathan Biggart. And honestly reminds me of when I hopped on iRacing, my first Cup paint scheme I ever started running. And I think it's actually still my Gen 6 Cup paint scheme from Trading Paints that I have put on the car. He has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles graphic all over, from Shredder to April O'Neil to the Turtles themselves. And it's just so cool to see. I used to run a Spider-Man car that was wrapped in different Spider-Man villains, and obviously Spider-Man on the car. So it's really cool to see Nathan Biggart running somewhat of a certain way that I used to run the paint scheme on my number 01 machine. So fun fact, that is why I couldn't be the 01 for that Talladega race a few weeks back, is because obviously Nathan Biggart is the 01. So if I couldn't be the 01, I said give me the 09, since I was born in September. So a little fun fact with Jason. But Wesley, right now in practice, though, looking like TJ Bartell is the fastest driver. But there's only 2 to 3 drivers who look like they have been able to run in the 29.3s. Everybody else is in the 29.4s upwards. So, I mean, the time difference could be really big, obviously, with the tire wear. And these tires definitely shred a lot more than those Gen 6 or the Gen 7 cars. So, this is going to be a completely different race than what we're used to seeing here the last couple of years.
And they fixed the graphic down there at the bottom. Big thanks, by the way, to Victory Fuel flavored electrolyte water. I'm looking forward to drinking me a good amount of it this weekend when I'll be up in Pennsylvania with the one of the announcing duties I have for this Memorial Day weekend. Bartell, Hannah, Chandler, Hedrick, Bliss right now. Your top 5 coming at you. Look out!
And this is going to be a really fun one. This is going to be so fun. I'm really excited to see this race because I don't think I've ever had the opportunity here on iRacing to actually call an all-star event. So this is going to be really fun here tonight. And 2 minutes are remaining here on the clock. Like we mentioned, they are going to run it down. Your top 10 in practice so far here out of the 20 drivers. You have TJ Bartell, Brody Hanna, Jeff Chandler, Ryan Hendrick, Brian Bliss, the top 5 in practice. Then you'll find Michael Blackner, Nathan Bigart, Richie Coy, Lane Allen, and Robert Malicki in the top 10. And Wesley, the thing is that I think we're so used to seeing Nathan Bigart run up in the top 3, or if not dominate a race. It's a little odd seeing him about 7th quickest in practice.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And obviously, seeing that man right now kind of struggle, if you will, during the practice session is very, very unlikely. 90s to go. And if you're going to figure something out, you better do it very fast. Right now, it looks like, man, TJ Bartell for Wayne Grossi Racing in that number 20 Chevrolet, he is the fast man. Obviously, Brody Hanna, we had him in the booth last Wednesday for the open race. And obviously, the Fury Motorsports number 23, second fast on the clock. He looks really good. Jeff Chandler. And of all the drivers that made it in from the open, Ryan Hendrick is really showing his strengths being up there in the top 5 in that 47 car in practice.
Yeah, and he's a driver with the Gen 7 car. When you look back to the normal Mach 1 Cup races that we have on Monday nights here on LSRTV, that he is usually a mid to backpack driver. And that's nothing against Ryan Hendrick. It's just the field is so stacked with competition, and you don't normally see him run that well up at the front of the field. But when he does, boy, is he fast. Tonight really could be a night where he can go on, and obviously win the Open and then come home and win this All-Star race. He very well could be a great dark horse pick to make. He's only about a little bit more than a 10th off of TJ Bartell's fastest lap. Richie Coy just posted his fastest lap. Now he's second up on the board with a 29.367. And Wesley, it looks like they are going to wrap it up here, and we are going to get gridded here tonight for the All-Star race. So we'll have to see how they end up gridding, because I know they're going to have to get in order here from what it looks like, or I believe they might have it all set up possibly. But again, we're going to have to see here as they get gridded. And right now, it's looking like Ben Tracy is going to start on the pole here tonight. So we'll go over the rundown. We're going to get ready here for the 2024 FTSR All-Star Race from Charlotte. Row number 1, you'll find Ben Tracy alongside Chad Lang in that number 4 Ford Mustang. Row number 2, we'll find TJ Bartell, Richie Coy in the number 19 machine. Row number 3, you'll find Brian Bliss, James Torrey in that number 6 machine. Row number 4, Michael Blackner, and there's the All-Star Open winner, Ryan Hendrick on the outside in the 47. And rounding out the top 10, Wesley, row number 5, you'll find Wayne Grossi and Rick Webb, one of your segment winners from the Open the other night.
20 drivers in total. Here comes row number 6, Jamie Knopf, one of the best of kart racing, ready to go in the 48, and Tony Solari, the 11, row 6, top 12. Row number 7, Jeff Chandler in the 31. He looks strong in practice, and Brody Hanna as well, but he'll start 14th by qualifying. Of course, from Thursday night, row 7, row 8, Sherwood Williford in the 33, Lane Allen in the 14, row 9, top 18, Kyle Milliken in the 42, Nathan Bigart in the 01, and starting in the back, Ryan Chapman and Robert Malicki. And remember, the All-Star Open winners transferred into the All-Star race, and that's the reason why they're starting where they're starting, because, Jason, they were able to qualify the following night after Wednesday's Open races that they won.
Yeah, and obviously that's why they are going to set the field like it is right now. And we only got half the lap to go until the green flag flies here from Charlotte. Real quick, let's take a look here at the race analysis before we get going here. And again, 40 laps, 25, 25, and then 10 lap dash to decide at all 3 green, white, checkered attempts if needed for the end of the race. No fast repair, 100% fuel load, and unlimited tires. Wesley, man, we love this track. I love this track personally. Had the privilege to be here 1 year ago for the Coca-Cola 600. It was a fun race, but boy, these guys here on the sim, they are going to put on an extravagant race here tonight. Pace car dips down to the pit lane. Ben Tracy in the Moose Colors Chevrolet is going to lead him down to the green flag with a tide ride of Chad Lang on the outside. Green flag is out. We're all-star racing here in Charlotte.
Picking up speed, green flag in the air. They'll climb that 24 degrees of banking all the way around the racetrack. It's segment number 1 is on. Tracy on the whole shot, powers his way to the lead. Bartel, Coy, up on the outside is Lang, and they pick up speed lap by lap as they work into turn 3.
Back to turn number 3, you see Ben Tracy working that middle groove, trying to get it down to the bottom. TJ Bartel is going to get a little loose. He gets down. Oh, no. Big crash out of turn number 4. Takes out multiple drivers. And we talked about guys not being comfortable or not being used to this car here. And oh my goodness, that might have been half the field coming out of turn number 4. And it all started when TJ Bartel there, Wesley, got loose, got down on that apron. There's grip there on that blue strip where the apron meets the racetrack. But if you get below it, boy, oh boy, you can go around real quickly, and that's what happened.
That's a 4-car accident, a big multi-car skirmish here coming off of that 4th turn. And here's a look at a replay of how it all got started. Shuffling off the corner. Look at everybody diving to miss down through the grass, the 31 and others. Jeff Chandler, you need to find the 20 of TJ Bartel, the 47 of Ryan Hedrick. Those are your guys that got caught up in the accident. Kyle Milliken, Richie Coy in the 19. This is where it all got bad right here. Oh, man, the 20 went below the apron, come up on the flat, up onto the banking, and then he literally in the dogleg entrance stacked everybody behind him, and that's what caused that big skirmish off the corner.
I thought that was going to be a much bigger wreck right there when we were making the call out of 4 than what it ended up being, because everybody did a great job to get down below the apron, either into the grass or down pit road, matter of fact, to avoid that. But you already see some drivers here on pit road, some that went through the grass, some that hit the wall, some that obviously got involved in that crash. One of those drivers being Richie Coy as well in that number 19. Talked about how fast he was there towards the end of practice, posting the 2nd fastest lap time of the evening. He was one of the drivers to get involved in that number 19 machine. And Wesley, here's the thing too that we got to note. No caution laps counting here from what we were told before the race. So this is just making it all much more better for these guys to be able to have a chance to get back up towards the front if they're not badly damaged.
Yeah, and obviously, remember, there's no fast repairs in this series, so either they're going to have to go to the back and come onto the pit lane and go on the damage clock to at least try to take time to get fixed, or hopefully by luck, they are not that badly damaged. Right now, there you see Ben Tracy, the Moose is loose, the man that won one of the open races on, of course, Wednesday night, leading the Cavalry. How cool would that be, Jason, for an open driver? Pay their dues, put themselves in contention, and fight for the win of the All-Star race. We've seen it happen in real life with drivers that had to go through the open to win the big show. We might be able to see it here tonight for Full Throttle.
Yeah, and also one of the things that was not implemented here tonight was obviously the fan vote, but, you know, you had those segment and then the open winners. You think back to 2008, Casey Kane, I believe, was able to get that All-Star fan vote and then went on to win the Sprint All-Star race that very evening. So should be very cool to see. We'll have to see, though, if these drivers who advanced from the open have a shot by any means necessary. Rick Webb, we know, is in that 6th spot right now in that 54 Ford Mustang. Then you have a driver like Ryan Hedrick. He was already involved, I believe, in that wreck. He is 2 laps down. I believe he has exited the car, so it doesn't look like a night for him, possibly. But still, a lot of stacked drivers here, Wesley. This is going to be a very interesting race here. We have those 4 segments, and it should be a good one here. But we're getting ready to restart with the pace car about to dip down to pit road. Ben Tracy and Chad Lang will bring him back towards the Geico restart zone, this time by here at the line. And then you'll find Brian Bliss, Michael Blackner, Wayne Grossi, Jeff Chandler, Jamie Knopf, Sherman Williford, Brody Hanna, your top 10. Pace car is off. They hit back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Hopefully we can keep it clean and green to the end of segment number 1.
Green flag in the air, and they'll try this again now. Looks like they did not complete an official lap, so this actually is the second take of starting this race over again. Back straightaway to the whip. Tracy in front. Look at the 1996 Earnhardt Olympics throwback. Number 3, driven by Brian Bliss. He's in second spot now. Lang, Grossi, top 5, work off 4.
Such a cool paint scheme with that number 3 machine here as they hit the line. This time you see Brian Bliss. He'll go to the top shelf here, entering 1 and 2. Going to be side by side with the 35 of Tracy. Everybody packed up like they're pack racing here off turn 2.
Stacked like sardines, if you will, to the back straightaway. It's Bliss on the outside lane. Tracy hugs the bottom. Lang will follow that move with Grossi down to the bottom as well, and they're going to stay door to door as they work their way off 4.
Off turn number 4, back to the line. Brian Bliss gets that lap led by just a nose over the 35 of Ben Tracy. You see Wayne Grossi, he's working down to the bottom of the 4 of Chad Lang. Off turn number 2, everybody pretty identical to where they were just a lap ago. Still, the pack scrambling throughout down the back straightaway into turn 3. Bliss has the advantage up top, but here comes Tracy back to the bottom off 4.
And you see on the scoring ticker as they come thundering down to the line, Bartel is already out of the All-Star race. Torrey, Hedrick still on pit road to get repairs fixed, and all the while, Bliss leads the way. Trace into the inside, laying up top battles, Grossi, and they're still door-to-door working off turn 2.
Bliss able to get clear of the 35, but look at this. Here comes the 4 of Chad Lang. The 35 of Tracy slid up the track out of turn 2. Brian Bliss pulling away right now with the race lead. The draft is going to be a factor with this high downforce, lower horsepower tight package, but still they are flying here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You could just see them on the edge of control going through these corners. We already saw an incident on lap number 1. Almost an incident right there as the 35 clears the 4 off too, but barely.
Pinched on, plenty of room given now. Lang's going to reset and fire. So does Grossi on the bottom of the racetrack, going after Blackner. Blackner's got help. Gracie on the bottom. Here comes now Knopf now on the bottom in the 48 machine, and they're going to battle door to door as they climb up the bank and into turn number 1.
In lap number 7 here of 40 in segment number 1. You see that top shelf being worked in by Michael Blackner right behind him. That's that black car right there. That is Brody Hanna. I believe maybe a paint issue with trading paints on his end. So he's the plain black car out there running on the bottom side. You see the 4, though, of Chad Lang slides up big time, hits the wall out of turn number 4, lets the field scramble behind them. Brody Hanna jumps to the inside, and it's a dogfight going down into turn 1.
Brody Hanna down to the inside of the racetrack, trying to take that spot for third away, ready to refire and set his sights on the top 2. Bliss, Tracy, longest segment of the race for the All-Stars. This goes to 40 laps, and right now it is Bliss in the USA 3 leading off the corner.
Yeah, and that's a great run by the 3 of Brian Bliss so far here tonight. Has about a 10.5 gap over Ben Tracy in that 35 machine, but look at Tracy able to close the gap right back up to the 3, but on entrance, that 3 just scoots away really quickly. Brody Hanna, though, still working to the inside of Chad Lang here as they head down the back straightaway into 3.
Everybody still continuing to stay in place. Bliss, Tracy, Lang, Hanna, Blackner, top 5. Up the racetrack goes the Sheets machine of Blackner. He's trying to set his sights on 3rd and 4th. That's Lang. Here's Hanna to the bottom. Hanna in the dark black Ford making his move to the top 3 into 1.
And you see Brody Hanna still trying to work that bottom lane with the 4 of Chad Lang running up there at the top and down the back straightaway. They go still side by side, and here comes the Sheets machine of Michael Blackner. He wants a piece of the action, jumps back up to the top side, and the 4 of Lang nearly hits the wall in the center of 3.
All this going on again as they cross by the line. It is still Brian Bliss out in front, not for long though. Ben Tracy, the Moose machine, 35 on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll power by Bliss to go back to the lead as they work into 2.
Off turn number 2. Oh, they nearly make contact there, but look at the 35 of Tracy able to get around the 3. of Brian Bliss back to turns 3 and 4. The 4 machine of Chad Lang goes up to the top shelf. Believe he might have brushed the wall going through the corner. A little bit of more action back here. That's Jamie Knopf, I believe, battling with the 31 of Jeff Chandler. He's got Wayne Grossi back behind him. Double wide here in the middle of the pack for about 3 to 4 rows deep as they head off 2.
Everybody, for the most part, again, still staying single file to the back stretch. Again, it is Tracy in the lead, Bliss second, Hannah third, top 5 single file behind them, though. They're getting a little bunched up as they come to the line to put 12 of 40 in segment 1 on the board.
Great racing action here so far tonight with multi-grooves, the draft, and obviously these drivers being on the edge of control with how hard it is to drive these old Gen 6 Cup cars here at a mile and a half like the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The top 4 single file out. It's Tracy, Hannah, Bliss, and Lang, and now Michael Blackner, Knopf able to clear the rest of the field in 5th and 6th. But Michael Blackner, Chad Lang, they battle back to 3 and 4, while Brody Hanna tries to run down the leader of Ben Tracy here as they hit lap 14.
And right now, Tracy still at the mid-top spot. There's the 16 now, watching him start to climb into the top 10 verbatim, going after Lane Allen, Robert Malicki, and those drivers holding on to those spots right now in the top 15. 3 wide for a moment. If he thought about it, he backed away. Meanwhile, everybody stays in tow, working up the racetrack into 3.
And already coming to halfway in the stage in just a few moments here. Once they hit lap 20, it'll be about 21 laps to go until the end of segment number 1. Ben Tracy still has the lead over Brody Hanna. You see Michael Blackner working up to the top side right behind the 4 of Chad Lang. They head down the back, and Blackner gets a little bit loose. But behind them, nice little battle going on between Jeff Chandler, Nathan Bigart, Richie Coyne, also Wayne Grossi as they head into 4.
All this happening now with, of course, Tracy still the leader. Here comes now the driver of that Pennzoil 7 that's in the top 10. Wayne Grossi going after the victory fuel entry of Richie Coy. By the way, just stumbled upon this on social media. If you put in Richie Coy's name on Facebook, you can actually see a Facebook Live of him in real time running the full throttle all-star race from the cockpit. Pretty cool camera angles right now, and he's right there in that battle. Right there in the top 10, working in 3 and 4.
And I know he's got to be huffing and puffing right now like he always does, breathing out that sigh of relief off the corners, knowing he didn't wreck it or wall it off those corners. That is Richie Coy's trademark that we all like to joke around with him about. He heads back into 1 and 2, right behind the 31 of Jeff Chandler, one of his new teammates, I believe, actually. I believe that's gotten signed over to Fury Motorsport for the upcoming 2024 B portion of the schedule for the Cup Series, so that should be fun. They work now back to 3 and 4. Jeff Chandler, though, starting to fade a little bit, but Robert Malikian slides up the track 3 wide here off 4.
Thought about making that move to the bottom of the racetrack and cut off Wayne Grossi was the 16. That's Malikian. Malikian up high. Grossi back to the bottom. He'll now open up that door down to Chandler, and they work their way again door to door off 3 in the 2.
2 by 2 by 2, those 3 rows right there on your screen, and they are duking it out here, approaching halfway in segment number 1. You see that top side, that number 11 machine right behind the 31. That's Tony Solari slowly starting to make his way up through this field. Jeff Chandler able to clear him. They battle now with the 52, or the 42 rather, of Kyle Milliken to the inside, and back behind him, that's the 52 machine, but 54 up on the scoring monitor. That's Rick Webb, Wesley. That's one of the guys who advanced from the open, slowly starting to make his way up through the field as well.
Making another great drive there from the open spot to put himself in contention in that number 42 machine. Malikian watches on. Grossi, it's Coy. All these drivers still bunched up in this pack. Closing in, by the way, on halfway in segment 1, 20 down, 20 to go when they come back to the line.
And battle for the lead going through 1 and 2 right now. Brody Hanna, he got to the 35. He is working down to the bottom, and he has brought Jamie Knopf with him in the 48 machine. The Toyota Camry goes up to the top side of Knopf, trying to get the run off turn number 4. Hanna just can't get there, but going to try to side draft the 35 just a little bit. Pulls it down. They're side by side across the line.
Stays in that other spot, stays to the inside. Here comes the 35 back up top again. That's Tracy. Battle now for the lead. Hannah to the point. Tracy battles back on the outside. Knuff is up to third. Bliss falls back to fourth, and they're now single file, except for fifth on back with Lang and Biggert Blackner off 3.
Noticing that Jamie Knopf really likes that outside in 3 and 4, and now he's going to work down to the bottom of Ben Tracy through the dogleg portion, the tri-oval rather, you would say, back to 1 and 2. They're now going to get clear of one another, but back behind them, great battle going on. Brian Bliss starting to peek back up inside the top 5. He's able to clear them and brings along Nathan Bigart with him in the TMNT machine down into 3.
Thought about making that move to the inside. Here comes Biggert now up on Lang's outside lane. He'll power up under the rear end of the 3 of Bliss as they work off 4. Working, Lang off the wall. Here comes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle machine. Turtle power, Biggert, top 5 as they work into turn 1.
And he is not a turtle and a half shell, but he is a driver in a fast race car here tonight, slowly making his way up. One of the biggest movers in the race, plus 13 spots for the driver of the 01 from where he started. The only one who is equal or has gained more positions than him is Brody Hanna in the 23, your race leader, who is also up 13 spots from where he started. Really sideways off turn number 4. The tires are starting to wear out a bit, Wesley. Best lap time of the race, 29.559 from Kyle Milliken in 11th. Last time around, the leader Brody Hanna ran a 31.463. So in just 24 laps here of segment number 1, these tires are absolutely chewed up right now.
All this happening again as they work their way again for another lap. Closing in on 15 to go in segment 1 for the Full Throttle Sim Racing All-Star Race. It's Hanna the leader. Look at now under attack. Bliss. Biggert. Here comes Coy now, the 19 in the mix. They're single file, but it won't be for long. And by the way, Blackner is reeling him into the back straightaway.
Michael Blackner, he is staying right where he started in that 7th spot. We saw him up in the top 5 a handful of moments ago, but now he's just kind of riding around that 7th spot. Look at Nathan Bigart closing right up to the rear bumper of Brian Bliss down the front straightaway. Gives him a little bit of a push. And remember, we talked about how these cars will draft an enormous amount here with those bigger spoilers and this lower horsepower package they have. But take a look at this. Thought about 3 wide for a minute. Richie Coy tried to go to the bottom side. Elects to tuck back in line right behind Brian Bliss. Now he works to the outside of Bliss into 3.
Thought about going for that opportunity, backed away. Bliss now back to the inside. Coy, plenty of room on the outside lane. Blackner watches on, closing in on 15 laps to go, now making 14 to go. Here in stage segment 1, here in the All-Star race, battling back up top. That's going to be Milliken. He's trying to find a way to get by Grossi and company off 2.
Oh, Chad Lang turned around all the back straightaway from Kyle Milliken off the front bumper. That's going to bring out the second caution of the night. Everybody is able to avoid the 4 machine. And Wesley, I was just about to mention how Chad Lang had been dropping like a rock from where he was up in the top 3, now all the way back to 17th. And really hard to tell. I don't know if he just clears him off turn number 2 or if the 42 just kind of comes down right there.
It was bound to happen, obviously, but we're watching him right there stride for stride in the corner, and then you saw where Milliken was starting to make something work on the outside lane. Just got to the left rear, and right at the wrong time off of the exit of turn 2, T-boned one another until he got apart from the 4, and the round goes Lang. 42, Milliken able to continue along. Gotta wonder, though, how much damage, Jason, could be on the 42 car as well.
Yeah, there's probably a decent amount of damage with, obviously, these cars having these body styles. And remember, this was old sheet metal. This is not that carbon composite style that you see with the newer Cup cars. So these things are able to take damage way, way, way easier than the newer Cup cars. So it's really crucial to make sure that you either, A, get all your damage repaired if you have it, or just make sure you don't obviously hit that wall. But here we come in for pit stops this time. And Nathan Bigart, or rather that's actually Richie, or not Richie, that's Brody Hanna, pardon, right into his pit box there. So everybody electing to come down here. And Wesley, I think they had to. I know there's only going to be a handful of laps to go here in segment number 1. But with the tire fall off here with these cars, it has just been so crucial to save your tires. We've seen drivers come up from the front, then go to the back because they just didn't save enough tire.
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to watch this and see what they do. We'll try to settle them up for another restart here. And the man right now is Brody Hanna. What a strong run in that Ford Mustang number 2. And he had to fight and claw his way into this up 13 spots for the race. And there you see that car doing well out in front for Fury Motorsports and looking to try to lock it in here at the end of segment 1. Charlotte. Don't count out Tracy and Knopf, though. They've been right there in tow behind him.
I think with these newer tires here, I think that Ben Tracy's definitely going to fire off really, really well, like he did in the beginning portion of the first segment because he was just so fast. But I mean, you look at the faster lap times from Brody Hanna and Jamie Knopf. That was really only because they were behind other drivers, so they can get that toe off them and draft them to get that faster lap time. But maybe Ben Tracy, now that he's going to be restarting second here, rather than being on the pole like he was for this race, he very well could try to make a run here of Brody Hanna. And here's the thing, too, about Brody Hanna running with this car. I know that, obviously, if you follow the FTSR series, quite a few weeks ago, they went from the Xfinity car to the Gen 6 car and took the Xfinity series and made it the Victory Fuel Cup series. So Brody Hanna is very, very fond of this car. We all know how much he hates the Gen 7 car, and I know that there's one thing that he really likes and he feels confident about, and he says that the drivers can have a blast doing, but maybe a little bit of bias because he's really good in this car. But Brody Hanna, he very well could walk away with this one easily tonight with how fast he's been.
Been a wild one here, and this was only segment number 1. And by the way, we're not done yet. We still got those twin 25s, and I say that because they're split in 25-lap segments to set it up for that 10-lap battle. And remember also, Jason, caution laps do not count in this series. Obviously, we had to, it said we completed 4 or 5 laps after the accident on lap number 1, but they called for an official restart and got it back going again. And ever since then, man, we've been 27 laps when they come to the line completed here. And obviously, we'll see what happens. Going to bunch everybody up. It looks like everybody just actually came down on pit road. Going to have a new even Steven when we come back to green next time by to wrap up segment 1 here at Charlotte.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see who is going to get the segment 1 win. We're going to restart, I believe, either on lap number 27 or on lap 28 here, depending on how these counting laps works out here. Because obviously, like Wesley had mentioned, caution laps not counting tonight. But when they take the green flag, we'll either restart on 27 or 28. But only regardless, handful of laps to go, Wesley. You're looking at only 13 to 12 laps remaining here for segment number 1. So if you want to get up towards the front here and put yourself in a good position for those 2 25-lap segments, and then obviously that 10-lap, this is going to be a huge part of this race right here. And look out for drivers who are really, really fast on that short run, because the shorter the runs, the better those guys who have those short run cars are going to be. A couple drivers to note who were really strong on those short runs: Ben Tracy, Wayne Grossi as well. I know Brian Bliss was, but he's still there in that 6th spot. Chad Lang, despite spinning out, he's going to be restarting 17th, so we'll see what he's got here and what type of damage the number 4 Tide Ride Ford Mustang has here for the rest of segment number 1. But pace car driver is off. Brody Hanna, Ben Tracy, going to lead him back down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out in the air. Brody fires off, got a shot from Jamie Knopf, but it is on between the 2 leaders, down to 1.
Powering their way back for the restart, and Tracy right back to the whip on the outside lane. Hanna protects the bottom. Knopf and Biggert all watching along. They go down, but Hanna single file off 2, but there's not done battle for the lead of the 3.
35 of Ben Tracy crossed over Brody Hannah off turn number 2. Brody put the slider on him off 2. Ben went down to the bottom, and it looks like this time it's going to happen to him this time. Brody Hannah, though, through the grass, almost there, right across the turf to try to get down to the inside, and he did it. Now he'll go back to the race lead here on lap 29 as everybody files out in the 1 and 2.
Get back to the outside lane. Tracy battles back. Hannah on the bottom. Bigger, Knopf right there, stride for stride. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Top 8 working off 4.
Crazy racing. Oh, and there we go. There's another one that bites the dust. That's Jamie Knopf, similar to what TJ Bartel did earlier in the race. Got onto that apron there, and Jamie Knopf went sideways just like TJ Bartel did in the beginning of the race. But this time he was able to save it compared to Bartel. But that is a huge hit for the driver of the 48. He is going to have a lot of work here to do, Wesley, in these upcoming segments.
Jamie Knopf just went from the penthouse to the outhouse, falls from the top now to the back. Meanwhile, cross the line, Tracy, Hannah, Biggert, Coy, Bliss, top 5 and 10 to go here in segment number 1. Door to door. Now Tracy powers back for the lead on the outside.
And here comes Nathan Bigart. He's going to give a little bit of a push to the 35. Actually makes him brush the wall with that shot down the back straightaway into 3. Richie Coy able to take away the 3rd spot. Michael Blackner and Bliss battle side by side. They door each other. Bliss, I believe, is through the grass across the turf here with 9 laps to go. He's able to maintain it and save it. But everybody fighting hard, and look at the 23 sideways on the bottom of the 35.
And that's going to be Hannah.
Oh, no!
He stands to the bottom of the apron. I think he saved it. He slams into the inside guardrail, loses probably some damage on the car. Hannah now falls all the way back to the 16th position. Meanwhile, Tracy in the lead, single digits in the All-Star race in segment 1.
That is a huge heavy hitter that is more than likely going to be out of this race with the damage he sustained from slamming the inside wall with the left side of his race car, including the nose and the left rear quarter panel. Brody Hannah just dashed away his chances at an all-star win in moments, in the snap of a finger. And that was really interesting to see how wicked loose he got. I believe he bounced off the 35 there, Wesley. Off turn number 2, we saw how aggressive he was throughout the last lap prior, sideways off every corner. Now he ends up heading down to the pit lane, and now it has opened up the door for his teammate Richie Coy here to try to make a move for the lead entering turn 3.
All of this going on again now as things kind of calm down after that chaos a moment ago between Tracy and Hannah, but not for long. Here they come to the stripe. Working now, 6 to go here in segment 1, and there's a caution on the racetrack. Welliford's in trouble. Looks like yellow flag will fly. Drive team, oh no, 14th position involved. That's Rick Webb. Rick Webb, one of the open winners, and into the wall goes Sherwood Williford as well.
And that was a hard hit to the outside wall for the 33. But again, Wesley, it looked like right there, maybe we could take another look at the replay here. And Charles, perfect job, knows what I want. And it looks like coming off the corner, it looks like the 52 actually just trying to come down. I mean, the 33 is obviously coming up because he's trying to clear and carry the momentum off the corner. But it's like the 52, I think, thought that the 33 was already going to be clear off 4. But by the time they got off 4, he just wasn't clear. And I think the 52 right there tried to do a little switcheroo crossover off 4. But it just didn't work out. That's about the 2nd or 3rd time tonight that we've seen something like that happen.
And you got to remember as well, this is not the end of segment 1 either, Jason. They have got to re-rack, restack, and go again. They're going to have less than 5 laps to go in segment 1 when we get ready to go back for a restart here.
Yeah, and these drivers are going to take every advantage they can for these unlimited tires, but some elect not to. Richie Coy is going to stay out. And on the pit lap counter from when he last pitted, it's showing that Richie Coy only pitted back at lap 2, so I don't believe he has pitted at all during this race so far, but we'll have to take a look and see if that's true possibly later on in this race. But a few drivers electing to come to pit road. Your leader, Ben Tracy, does. Wayne Grossi, Rick Webb, obviously, Jamie Knopf, Tony Solari, Lane Allen, Brody Hanson.
Pitted on lap number 2. It's the last time he pitted. Everyone else behind them, we're going to probably steamroll the 19 when we get ready for this restart with 5 to go.
He has been really competitive, though, even with those older tires. We saw him get up to second. Maybe he's got something here for the rest of this field, despite these older tires here from lap number 2. Kyle Milliken also coming in that last time around as well. So he is going to come down to the attention of his pit crew. Still under the pace car right now. Your top 10 so far at the time being is Richie Coy. You'll have Nathan Bigart in the TMNT machine in second, then Michael Blackner in the Sheets machine. Robert Milikian, Ryan Chapman, who we haven't talked about all night there inside the top 5. Then you have Brian Bliss, Jeff Chandler, Ben Tracy, Tony Solari, and Lane Allen so far here in your top 10. And I mean, Wesley, I really think so far here, even though we're just 35 laps in, there's a lot that you could take away of who's fast, who's not. But also at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of comers and goers. It's really been interesting to see. You know, we've seen the 01 get up to the front, the 19 now, the 22, the 16 has made his way up there. We saw the 3, the 7. I don't really think this race is going to have a clear favorite at the time being until we get into these final 10 laps.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I'm actually surprised. This first segment's taken a lot more longer than I thought. Let's take a look real quickly at the Virginia 811 race summary, and this is already just in the first segment of the race. 3 cautions. Yeah, there's been 4 lead changes, but there's been multiple cautions, obviously. 3 cautions. And remember, caution laps don't count, so that's you've also got to remember. There was a little hiccup on that error there, but, you know, 3 cautions in the segment, I wasn't expecting this, Chase.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were, even with, and it's funny because it all really started when TJ Bartel got loose on that apron into turn number 4, and then scrambled up the entire field, and it really shook up everybody. I mean, even Richie Coy got involved in it. You could see there's a little bit of damage to the right rear of that number 19 machine that he just was not able to fix yet, but he's still got a fast car despite those 2-lap tires on compared to everybody's 27 or 35. He's flying. He's doing a really good job. I mean, for all we know, though, it could be a hiccup with the live sim timing scoring ticker that we are provided here in the booth because of the caution laps not counting. It goes haywire every time they cross the line, so maybe he does have lap 27 tires, but we're just going to go off the stat sheet and say he's got 2. But even with those 2-lap tires, he's doing a really good job out here, and he's only going to have 5 or 6 laps remaining to try to hold on here for segment number 1, which will come at the completion of lap number 40, and then we'll go another 25, then another 25, and then 10 to round out the all-star race here. But pace car is going to make the left turn down to pit road again, and Richie Coy and Nathan Bigart, 2 of the heavy hitters here at FTSR, are going to bring him back down to the restart here on lap number 35. Green flag's back out in the air. Coy gets a great restart in the 10 of Nathan Bigart, though. We'll see what he's got for this 19 here. Back into turn number 1 they go.
Very impressed with the restart for the Victory Fuel 19 Toyota of Richie Coy. Quickly back up to speed, hangs with the pack, holds on to the lead, but not for long. Bigger on the outside lane. He'll go to the lead, and they work their way into turn number 3 with 4 to go here instead. Contact. Bliss up the racetrack. Blackner got into him. Bliss up the safer barrier. They're 3 wide for the lead off 4. And they're wrecking.
And the caution is out because I believe Ben Tracy got sideways and collected everybody. That's why you saw everybody scrambling into 3 and 4 right there. And it takes out a few drivers. There's the 14 machine of Lane Allen going around in the Mountain Dew Chase Elliott colored machine. And it all started here, Wesley, when they went into turn number 3.
Yeah, they got really stacked up there. Look at this, fighting for the spot. Bigger Coy, I think, held up the inside lane, and then from there on, he picked up speed. That was game on. Look at this. Allen into Tracy. Another driver, Menard's car involved. Grossi involved. Second time we've had a kerfluffle off of turn number 4 with multi-cars involved in this thing. Guys, you got 3 segments left.
3 segments left, and we have already almost taken out half the field. Right now, for the time being, there is only 12 cars on the lead lap out of the 20 that we started with, which is absolutely insane because, Wesley, like you mentioned, this is only the first segment, and these guys are still going to have 5 laps to go in segment number 1 here when they get back going. And it's just so interesting to see how this race has shaken out. And again, we still got 3 more segments, 25, 25, and 10, and still no clear favorite to see who is the one that everybody's got to beat. If it's this segment, you're going to have to beat the 19 for sure, but obviously this 01 of Nathan Bigart with the restart he got last time could really shake things up. Or how about the 16 machine of Robert Malicki? He made it 3 wide out of turn 4 when the leaders got together, and he had the lead until the caution came out. But at the time of caution, he was given back to the 3rd place. Robert Malikian, he's got something to say here, Wesley, for this segment and also possibly the win tonight.
And Jason, my question is this also. You know, what's going to happen at the end of segment 1? Is there going to be an invert? Do they invert half of the field? Does everything stay even Steven? Does the man from the segment 1 win go to the back? We really weren't kind of given any kind of an idea of what, special, shenanigans might be in store for the end of the segment races. It might just be, the way you race off pit road. Because you got a feeling, Jason, they're going to pit. They're going to pit at the end of this first segment. You have to. Unlimited amounts of tires and fuel. You're going to fill up the tanks and you're going to put on 4 new sides of rubber.
Yeah, you have to, absolutely. I believe that they will not be doing any sort of invert here from the analysis sheet that we were given prior to the week ahead of time. So it looks like they're going to just race it out like we usually see. But obviously you mentioned those tires being such a crucial factor. And I think that, the fact that these guys have unlimited tires, it's really shaken up a lot of things. Because you have guys that are on these older tires, like a Richie Coy, Nathan Bigart, Robert Malikian. But then you have guys who pit at lap 35 and 36, like Jamie Knopp, Wayne Grossi, Kyle Milliken, just to name a few. Will they elect to stay out, or will they come into the pits here when pit road opens after segment number 1 is complete? And here's an interesting thing, and the only reason I say this, and this is a normal stat on a weekly basis, both in real life and also here in the FTSR, is that pit road closes with 2 laps to go. Now, the reason I say that is because, remember, caution laps do not count, so it's not like the caution comes out with 2 to go. They're going to the end of the segment. They're not going to be able to pit, so if you're going to pit, this is probably your best time to do it. We already had a few drivers come into the pits here, like Chapman, Michael Blackner. They pitted on lap 36, like I had mentioned, along with other drivers. But this is going to make for a really interesting race. I just hope that we can get back going green here for the end.
Lights off for the pace car, and it'll be a 4-lap shootout when they come back to the Geico restart zone, or Toyota restart zone for that matter, and go again. Obviously, we saw Nathan Bigart show his strengths when he started to pile up to the front. And then, of course, tough break for Ben Tracy, one of the, again, open winners, like other guys that were involved, like Hedrick earlier in the race. Webb, right now, only 13th, but he's a lap down. So, all the open drivers not having a nice welcoming into the All-Star race. But come on, guys, let's finish this one here, and let's move into segment number 2, Jason, as we'll try to wrap it up for a restart.
Yeah, really excited here to see how this segment ends. Hopefully it's not as chaotic like the previous restart we just had, but it probably will be because these guys know what's on the line. 4 laps or 5 remaining here when they come back to the Geico restart zone. It's going to be Richie Coy who elects the top side for the restart this time. Nathan Bigart alongside him. Then you'll have Bliss Malikian, Chandler Knopp, your top 6 first 3 rows. The pace car is off and away, and here we come back to the Geico restart zone. Bigart's starting to creep, but it looks like Coy's going to fire off just fine. Brian Bliss stacks up Knopf just a little bit, but they're back through the restart zone and back into turn number 1 with just 4 laps to go in stage number 1, or rather segment 1.
Think of guys like Bliss and Knopf that were in the back earlier, made their way now back up to the front before the end of the segment. Now, the Ninja Turtle machine, bigger to the point, pulls up in front of Coy to the bottom. Here comes Malikian. He's got a shot, pushes the 0-1, 3 wide for second as they work off 4.
Crazy for a moment there. Jeff Chandler got really sideways out of 4, trying to overcorrect it and doesn't, but does a great job saving it. They're back to 1 and 2 now. Everybody behind the race leaders pretty much double wide. You see Malikian working up to the top side now on Jeff Chandler, back down the back straightaway, while Richie Coy tries to chase back down Nathan Bigart, coming to 2 laps to go in segment 1.
I am blown away, Jason, how Richie Coy is able to battle with the drivers that have got better sides on tire wear than he does. Here he comes back into turn number 1 up the racetrack. Bigart up in front, Coy to second, back straightaway. Knopf and Malikian now battle. Bliss watching out on the outside as they work into 3.
Jeff Chandler goes for a move for second underneath Richie Coy, down to the inside into 3 and 4, coming to the white flag for segment number 1. Chandler gets a little loose. He pinches the 19 up into the wall, stacks up the field behind him. 1 lap to go in segment 1, and Nathan Bigart is loving what he's seeing behind him.
Coy with a save, Malikian with a save. Malikian gonna battle back up on the marbles on the outside lane. He can't get there. Everyone shuffles and stacks up behind them 2 by 2. Meanwhile, Bigart up in front, holding off a storm coming after him for the end of segment 1 at Charlotte.
Well, it ain't going to be that much of a storm off 4 for Nathan Bigart, because he is going to win segment number 1 of the FTSR All-Star race, with Jeff Chandler just beating out Richie Coy, I believe, there for second. And Coy got third, with Jamie Knopf in 4th, Robert Malikian in 5th there, your top 5. So, Wesley, very, and I mean very, eventful segment number 1 here. I can only imagine with another 2 25-lap segments and a 10-lapper is going to do for these guys.
Well, we need to stop and get a reset, no doubt, man. But I got to give mad props to Richie Coy. He'll finish 3rd at the end of the first segment, but the way he battled back with all these drivers that have, of course, new tires, new tire wear, his used up. Of course, according to the ticker, he has not pitted since lap number 2. That's his only pit stop. Everyone else is pitted, at least 2 or 3 times or more. And the other drivers that have pitted on lap number 27. What an impressive drive for that victory Phil 19 does in segment 2 whenever they come back off the pit lane.
Yeah, and he did a fantastic job in that number 19 machine, doing what he does best. But while they come down to the pit road, before we get started with segment number 2 for the 25-lapper, we'll step aside, take a quick break, and we'll be right back here after this. This is the FTSR All-Star Race from Charlotte.
drag race to the line.
Welcome back to the FTSR All-Star Race here from Charlotte in 2024, live on LSRTV. Jason Rockefeller, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten up here in the booth with you all here tonight. Just got done with segment number 1, and Wesley, we already mentioned, but we're going to say it again because why the heck not? That was a very, very eventful segment number 1. And I'm assuming that segment 2 could possibly be even more chaotic. We always talk about, I know one of the things you always say is that these guys just got to learn to buckle down, ride around. But again, this is an all-star race. They're only going to have 25 laps, and then another 25, and then 10 to go for the finish. So you either got what you got, or if you don't, you got to try to figure it out and get up to this front quickly.
Very eventful and caution field first segment. Took over 45 minutes to lock down. Could not believe that it took that long, but obviously, let's take a look at the race summary presented by Virginia811.com. Jason, down at the bottom, and you look at that, 5 cautions. Okay, the most recent caution was for the natural caution, but 4 incidents on track in the first 40 laps. Guys, you gotta be more conservative, and in doing so, Jason, we've eliminated almost at least 3/4 of the field. There's 5 or so drivers that are out of this thing now.
Yeah, but guess who just got back on the lead lap? Mr. Brody Hanna. Remember, he spun down to the inside, hit that inside retaining wall after bouncing off of Ben Tracy off turn number 2 during segment 1. But he just got back on the lead lap. We'll see how the 23 machine is despite the damage on that race car. But we're going to get going here for segment number 2. So let's set it up for you. Row number 1, it's going to be Jamie Knopf and Michael Blackner there. Great run for him in the Sheets machine. Beautiful colors, by the way, with that 22 machine, but I'm a Wawa guy all day, so I will clearly tell Michael Blackner Wawa all day, every day, compared to Sheets. Then you got Richie Coy, and then you have Nathan Bigart, who was your segment 1 winner, falls back to 4th after the pit stop cycle. And then in row number 3, you'll have Robert Milikian and Brian Bliss in the old Dale Earnhardt Sr. Olympic throwback machine from the All-Star race years and years ago in the 90s, but always a beautiful scheme to see. One of the classic tradition American flag USA style paint schemes that we all know and love to see. Glad to see it back on the track here tonight, and we're glad to see these guys get going for segment number 2. Green flags in the air. Jamie Knopf leads them back down to the restart zone, and everybody files out for another 25 laps here in segment 2.
Cut off 15 laps is what was segment 1 at 40. 25 laps, the distance for these guys. Got to get to lap 65 to wrap it up. Cut off the go-kart racing ace on the outside lane from Virginia. Leads the cavalry. Blackner into the bottom, battles Bliss. Bigger now behind the leader as they work stride for that spot off 3 and 4.
And Bliss running up at the top side like he's pretty much done all night long. Loves riding up at the top side. Michael Blackner just able to get behind the 01 machine, who cuts him off down into 1. But now Blackner was down the bottom. He's going to turn the 01 machine.
Wow.
Maybe got loose, and around he goes in front of the field. The 01, the 22 machine involved. Jeff Chandler is in it. Lane Allen is in it as well. Maybe Robert Milikian. Lots of cars pile up down here into turn number 1. Wesley, I wouldn't say that was intentional by any means, but that 22 sure looked loose down into turn number 1. But, I mean, we're going to see a part of the story right here.
Caution out again. Blackner, Sheets machine. What a save by Blitz to miss Biggart's car. And boy, all 4 the Ninja Turtles with the missing splinter goes around. And they definitely are going to have to come out of their shells and check out that car to see what kind of damage, if any, as we'll get ready to go for a restart. Again, Blackner into the left rear. I would say, Jason, just a racing move, but come on, guys, this is just too early to be doing this right now. Why race somebody this hard? I know we said it's the All-Star race, but man, Blackner could have gave Bigger a little bit more room. I'm just saying, Jason, he could have gave him some more room than what he did.
Yeah, it looked like he just tried to get it down in there to turn number one, and that's the thing with that banking going into turn number one. And I've raced enough cars here to know there's like kind of not necessarily a hump, but it's like a dip. When you get down over the banking, heading into turn number one, the car will kind of, in a sense, bottom out, or it flattens into the corner. You can really get loose here. I noticed that a lot, not only with the legacy NASCAR truck, but also the current NASCAR truck series trucks that run, obviously. So it looked like maybe that was what happened. He tried to throw it down in there, got loose or got a little tight, and just unfortunately got into the 0-1. Because Michael Blackner is not a driver who does stuff like that at all, like very often. I have never seen Michael Blackner do something like that, so I'm going to agree with you, Wesley. Definitely a racing deal. But already a lot of guys have pitted, whether they were in the back or not, that got involved in that. There are 3 cars right now that did not pit last time around. That's Jamie Knopp, Kyle Milliken, Ryan Chapman, and I believe Rick Webb will be joining forces with them pretty shortly here, but he pitted on lap 43. Everybody else, though, electing to come to pit road as well. But so far, interesting start to segment number 2.
By the way, don't forget up later tonight, right here on iRacing on LSRTV, as well as simulcast on the Community Radio Network. It is the Northwest Racing Series trucks. They'll be at Gateway Worldwide Trilogy Raceway. We'll have short track racing, 140 laps after this one tonight when it wraps up. Hope you can join us.
Yeah, and it's been awesome here tonight. I mean, despite the cautions we've seen tonight, it has still been an action-packed race. Great to see the Gen 6 car back on track being used here for the All-Star race. And Wes, so that's the great thing here about iRacing, especially when it comes down to leagues and broadcasting, is they can run whatever they want, whenever they want, really. And this was a great opportunity for them to bring this back and show that the Gen 6 car is still a fantastic car, not only to drive, but to put on a show-wise. It is not disappointed. Again, we've had multiple cautions so far here tonight. But the racing, the battling for the lead throughout the entire field in general, has just been awesome to see. I feel like I'm sitting at home right now, literally, watching, an all-star race here from the late 2010s, or like the 2019 all-star race. It's really cool to see these Gen 6 cars here racing.
Jamie Knopf up in the top spot now, obviously. Then you got the 27 machine of Ryan. 52, Jason, remember him? That was, of course, problems in the race earlier for Rick Webb, the 54, actually. Time and Scorum shows him as 54, but he's in the 52 car in third spot. You had props, obviously, to Richie Coy. He's back caught up with everybody on the tire fuel strategy, in sync with everyone. Anybody could win this thing, but guys, stop tearing each other's cars up to be there at the end. Well, I think we're only down to 12 or 13 left.
This very well could end up like Talladega Nights, except we can't have these guys get out of their cars and run to the start-finish line, because by the way that this race has played out here tonight, it has been very, very interesting. I believe right now, currently, we only have 12, maybe even 11 cars on the racetrack right now, and some of them are laps down, some of them aren't, but by the looks of it right now, it's just about that. You see about 12 cars or so on the racetrack, and it has not been fun for some drivers tonight, but for others, they've probably had a blast. One of the things I'm looking forward to seeing, I know he's a lap down again. I believe he might have got involved in that, but if he can somehow manage to come back out, Brody Hanna, with the plethora of cautions we've had here tonight, we saw how strong he was early in segment 1. He is not out of this by any means necessary. So if he can get one caution, he could be back on the lead lap yet again. And we'll see how it works out for the driver of the 23. The pace car is about to dip down. It's going to be Jamie Knopf, Ryan Chapman, Rick Webb, Richie Coy. Then you'll find Michael Blackner and Jeff Chandler. First 3 rows for the first 6 cars. Back to the restart zone they go. And Jamie Knopp will fire out of it. Jeff Chandler gave a big shot to Richie Coy on the restart. Richie had to lay off to make sure he didn't get into Ryan Chapman. And everybody fans out. Goes back into 1 and 2. Side by side for the race lead between Knopp and Chapman. Back to 2.
Al Chapman took advantage of it on the outside lane, but quickly ran back down on the inside drivers on Knopf, Webb, Blackner, inside, up top, Chapman, Coy, and also up in the battle.
Oh, no!
Chapman goes around. Chapman hits the wall. He got tangled into Coy. Coy into Bliss. Bliss is in, I believe, to some other drivers, and man, this is heartbreak. Malikian. Oh my goodness. The All-Star Race segment 2. And the process of elimination with Rex continue here. Wow.
Oh my goodness. And you see right here going into 3, the 27
Chapman,
just
hits
hits the wall,
nowhere
just gets
to go
loose.
Nowhere to go. Yeah.
Hey, he saved it.
Yeah,
he
nowhere
saved
to
it
go.
though. Did a great job saving it though right there. But again, collected a lot of drivers. I believe you saw right there the 16 of Robert Malikian. He was involved. Many drivers involved in this one here so far. And it has been a wreck fest of a race tonight here from Charlotte. Let's take a look real quick at the Virginia811.com race summary so far here tonight. It has been a wreck fest like we had mentioned. Believe that would be our 7th caution of the evening here, if we can get the Virginia 811 race summary up here in just a second. And it's just been a caution-filled night like we had mentioned. But again, caution laps not counting here. So it just gives these guys more of an opportunity to rebound, more time. But this has been a long race. Already almost about to be an hour into the session here for the race. Yeah, and we're pretty much halfway, in a sense, almost through this race. And we still got this entire segment to go. We have another 25-lap segment, and then 10 laps. 10-lap dash to finish it all out here. Only seeing about 6 cars on the racetrack. 7, I believe it is right now. So lots of drivers still in the pits. Some drivers electing to come and take damage repair. Others trying to take tires. But man, we started this race, Wesley, again with 20 cars. We're down to pretty much, I'd say probably about 10.
Can't believe it. I'm speechless right now.
Yeah.
I just,
I'm very speechless.
Guys, if I'm the race director right now for Full Throttle, I would be telling them, I mean, guys, use your head. Come on. Like, this is just, wait till you get to that last 10-lap segment when you're making the run for the money. Don't be tearing stuff up here in segment 1 and 2. I mean, literally, you've got maybe 7 cars, 8, 9 cars on the lead lap. Everyone else is pitted either on damage to get repairs, where they trying to keep from going a lap down. I know it's the scoring ticker says 13 are on the lead lap, but you got guys that are still behind pit wall getting repairs fixed.
Yeah, we're still working under the caution right now, waiting for the field to get all bunched up back together. We'll probably get the 1-to-go signal this time by. And so far, it's Jamie Knopp out front with Rick Webb, Michael Blackner, then Brian Bliss, Richie Coy, Wayne Grossi, Ben Tracy, and Kyle Milliken. Looks like the drivers that are on track for the time being. Nathan Bigart, Ryan Chapman, Robert Malikian, they are still all on pit road with damage repair from that caution previously, and also the one that just occurred here. And man, it's just been so wild. And I think, Wesley, one of the big things about tonight, that probably why we're seeing the plethora of cautions that we've seen. And again, we have talked about how clean and green FTSR races will usually go. But I think tonight is an exception because, remember, this car was pretty much vaulted as a standard car after the next-gen car was released. These guys have been running now the next-gen car nearly the last 3 years. So this car only came back into FTSR recently with the Victory Fuel Cup Series, and some of those guys don't run that series, but some of them do. So that's why you're seeing a lot of guys, I think, struggle out here tonight, because they just don't have the experience and they're just not used to these cars here.
Hey guys, you got to remember, we got another broadcast in an hour. Oh, I think we jinxed ourselves, Jason, whenever we said, "Oh yeah, this should go by pretty fast." You know, boy, oh boy, we're not even halfway yet in an hour in sim time right now.
Yeah, it has been crazy.
We'll try it again
here so far. Yeah, we're going to try it again here. Coming to the restart on lap number 45 out of what would be 65, I believe, to the end of segment number 2. And then you'll go all the way to 90. And then we'll have 10 laps to finish it out here for the 2024 FTSR All-Star Race. Getting ready for the restart. I'll give you your top 3-row rundown again. It'll be Jamie Knopf on the outside with the race lead. Then you'll find Rick Webb on the inside in the 52, but will be shown as the 54 up on the scoring monitor. Then you'll have Michael Blackner, Brian Bliss, and Richie Coy and Wayne Grossi. So official count as they come back to the restart zone, 13 cars on the lead lap after the 20 that we started with. Pace car is down and away. We're getting ready to continue segment number 2. Back to the restart zone. Green flag is out. Knopf gets a good start, but I think Rick Webb gets an even better start. Might be a little bit of a problem there on the restart with the 52. Could have jumped it. We'll have to see what the admins do about it, but they're back through 1 and 2, side by side for the race lead.
And when they come to the line, it'll be 20 laps to go here in, obviously, segment 2. Inside, Webb, bottom, Knopf on the outside lane, Blackner, Bliss, they all hold it together now, working door to door off turn number 4 of the line.
And back through into the dogleg they go into turn number 1. Brian Bliss, oh, one car shoved out of line, that's Ben Tracy, who goes around, up, and collects the back half of the field, and collects Wayne Grossi, Robert Malikian, the 14 of Lane Allen. Lots of drivers involved yet again into turn 1.
My goodness, guys, come on. Oh no. Look at you. So is it the car or is it just lack of experience? Looks like Biggert turned over and got into the 35 of Tracy. Tracy came back up the racetrack, and while that happened, everyone else tangles from there. Wow. My goodness,
yeah,
man.
we'll
There's another 5-6
right
car accident, Jason.
Yeah, that's another one for the night. And right after this, we'll show you the Virginia 811 race summary again. And I think this really was all caused because Biggert had a huge run going through the tri-oval. He peeks to the inside, and the 35 of Tracy just cuts right across his nose. The 01 checks up. Jeff Chandler just merely avoids that wreck, but he's the one who got into the back of Nathan Biggert because Biggert was checking up, and the 31 of Chandler didn't notice it and just ran right into the back of him. And again, another multi-car accident. And with that being said, we'll take a look real quickly here at the Virginia 811 race summary here. If we can get it up in just a second with Jamie Knopf leading, and there it is. 8
I don't think
caution.
Charles wants to put it up anymore.
I don't think he wants to, too. I think he's probably put it up more than we've put up the race leaderboard tonight, probably, for you.
Wow, what a T-bone shot for Biggert from Allen. Yeah.
8
I'm
cautions.
just looking at it from the live feed, and man, what a T-bone shot. Allen gave Biggert in the driver door. And, man, what another tough break also. What was it, the 16, I think it is. Robert Malikian, I think the driver was. He was literally drove below the grass to try to miss all this, and then he went head on into the safer barrier, and now he's on the clock. I mean, he's got to take time to try to get his car fixed. It's just can't believe this. Can't believe it. Wow. So right now, as timing and scoring presents itself to us, it looks like there's about 6 cars right now on the racetrack for the time being. A few drivers into the pits trying to repair some damage, and we'll see where everything shakes up here for the restart coming up shortly.
Still Jamie Knopf, your race leader, who was pretty much, in a sense, if the caution laps were counting, it was pretty much be dominating under caution. But again, caution laps not counting here tonight. Lane Allen just exited the pits, being able to repair at least some damage to the number 14 Mountain Dew machine. Kyle Milliken elects to come to pit road this time by, probably to either get some tires or repair a little bit of damage. You see Rick Webb back there in the 52 machine as well. And then you have Richie Coy and others back behind them. We'll take a quick break real quick before we get back going here for segment number 2. And Jamie Knopf, your race leader, will be right back from Charlotte in a second.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to segment 2 of the FTSR All-Star Race here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, live on LSRTV. Jason Rockefeller, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten up here in the booth with y'all tonight, like always. Getting ready for the restart here on lap number 46. They'll hit 47 for segment number 2 here. And Jamie Knopf going to lead them back down to the restart zone. And it looks like, at the time being, I believe about 10 or maybe 11 cars are on the lead lap right now. We have had a lot and a plethora of cautions and wrecked race cars here tonight in the All-Star race, and we're getting ready to come back down to the restart zone, and it's going to be Knopf leading them down with Rick Webb on the inside. Green flag is back out. Back underway. Lap 47 will go up on the board, and Webb gets a good restart. He'll work down to the bottom. Jamie Knopf entering turn number 1, challenging for the lead.
Webb, one of those all-star open drivers down to the inside, gives room for Knopf on the top. It's now going to be Coy back to third. Behind them, there's single file. Now the battle for the lead. Shakes up door to door. Webb to the bottom on 3.
Webb trying to get down to the bottom. He gets a little bit loose. Richie Coy, though, working up to the top side here off turn number 4. They're clean and green for the time being. Jamie Knopf will lead that time by at the line. Richie Coy able to power past the 54 of Rick Webb on the outside into 1 and 2. Now he'll try to run down Jamie Knopf in the 48 off 2.
Stays in that spot, and now Bliss Bonsai down below the bottom of the apron. I think would have saved the 3 he made. He falls back, though, in the top 10. Battle for the lead. Coy to the bottom on Knopf. On the 31 at Chandler. New leader, the 19, with under 20 to go in stage 2.
And our new race leader, Richie Coy, back out front. But don't look now, because here comes Jeff Chandler in the 31 machine. To the inside, working on the bottom of Jamie Knopf, exiting turn number 2. Exits a little bit lower, but here comes Knopf with a little bit of a crossover with a great run off 2. He'll throw it down to the bottom in 3 and 4.
Back to the corner again. It's going to be Knopf to the bottom. Knopf, Coy, side by side, entering the dog leg off of turn number 4 to the line. Chandler will follow, so will Webb. Give them room as they go back up the racetrack into turn 1 and 2.
Rick Webb nearly hits the wall on entry to turn number 1, but he's able to keep it going straight. Great battle. Oh, and Jamie Knopf pinched the 31 up and into the wall. They're able to save it. That was probably the greatest save we've seen all night with all the action and cautions we've seen. Great job by Jeff Chandler. Looked like just got pinched there into the wall, and he's up into the wall again off 4s. Now we have hit halfway in tonight's All-Star event.
We're also 15 laps to go here in segment 2 for the All-Star race. Meanwhile, it is Coy, it's Knopf, Webb, and Blackner falling back. Chandler behind the back of the Chapman machine. Malikian right there in tow. They're single file finally off turn 4.
Here comes Chapman down to the inside of Michael Blackner, battling there for the 4th spot, and he'll work down to the bottom there in that Toyota machine. Meanwhile, up front, Jamie Knopf trying to make another run at Richie Coy down through the middle of the racetrack. Coy on the bottom. You'll have Rick Webb up on the top shelf. He gets a great run off turn number 2. Try to see if he'll set up a pass on Knopf. Thought about going to the bottom. He'll elect to stay in line here back to turn number 3 as now they both run the top side while Richie Coy's still wrapping the bottom off 4.
Working off the corner, back down to the line. It is Coy up in front, cut off the 2nd. Back to 3rd. Here comes Chapman back into the fight again. Alongside with Blackner, that's your top 5. Plenty of room given, guys, as we've had process of elimination in segment 2. The leader is Coy in the inside in 3.
And look at Robert Malikian making his way back up almost into the top 5, battling side by side with Chapman for the 6th spot. Brushes the wall off turn number 4, but that won't stop the 16 because that is the least of his concerns after being involved in wreck after wreck tonight, doing a great job hanging in there in this top 6 who have basically pulled away, top 7 rather, have pulled away and are all within a second of one another. Then you'll find Ben Tracy back in 8th, more than 2.5 seconds back. And meanwhile, Richie Coy continuing to lead. 11 laps to go, this time by the line here for segment number 2.
Finally got some racing going under their belt. Webb now trying to hold off the likes of Blackner up top. A little wiggle there for a second. Here comes now Chandler back to the whip on the inside. Chapman will follow. They're door to door, trying to run down the leader. Single file off 2.
Single file down the back, but Ryan Chapman wants nothing to do with single file action. He wants double file action here. Try to go down to the bottom. Now Jeff Chandler working to the inside of Rick Webb off turn number 4. It gets close. Blackner brushes the wall. Chandler got a little loose off 4. Now 10 laps remaining in segment 2. And Ryan Chapman still trying to find a way around the 22 and also the 16 of Robert Malikian, who is continuing to run up on the top side while Knopf and Richie Coy have checked out on the field by over a second.
Back stretched again into 3. There goes Webb up the hill. Open the door. Chandler quickly getting back up to the front in a big way. Alongside Blackner, the Sheets Machine 22. And while that goes on, Coy is gone. Open up the lead now. Top 2, actually. Coy and Knopf are pulling away as we close in on the end, finally, of segment 2 at Charlotte.
Yeah, and these guys are doing a great job compared to what we saw in the first half of this race. Some single file, but also some great action throughout these remaining cars that are still left. 10 cars on the lead lap out of the 20 that we had to start tonight's race. And back behind the leaders, it is still a little dicey with Rick Webb, Michael Blackner, and others back behind them here with just 7 laps remaining in segment number 2 here. Back to 3 and 4. Here they come down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 this time. They were 3 wide for a moment there. How about Brian Bliss? Look at him. Remember, he had that bonsai moment down to the inside of the racetrack, was able to save it. He is ripping the top side, nearly runs into the back of Jeff Chandler.
beautiful looking car for the driver of the number 3 of Brian Bliss. If anybody had a chance to go for 3 wide, Chandler will, right up the middle, splits the hot dog between the bun. That's going to be driver Tracy and Malikian, split by the number 31. Chandler trying to find a way to get back up to the front. Tracy battles back on the bottom as they work 3.
Great little battle here. This is going on for the 6th and 7th position. Then you have behind them Robert Malikian, just, I believe, brushed the wall, opened up the door for Brian Bliss to move up into the 8th spot now here with just 6 laps remaining in segment 2. And while they battle, here comes Ryan Chapman. He wants another piece of the Shinks machine of Michael Blackner, working down to the bottom of him, while Rick Webb's starting to back up just a little bit with some tire wear down the backstretch.
Thought about making that move to the outside lane. It's Coy now holding on to that spot, but behind them it is heated. Coy, Knopf pull away. 2 seconds back. Webb, Blackner, and Chapman fighting in the top 5 as we're under 5 to go actually. Closing in on 5 to go here in stage number, segment 2 at Charlotte.
And Jamie Knopf was a little bit faster than Richie Coy that last time around by just literally a 1/10 of a second. And he is closed in the gap on the 19. He'll try to go to the top side, but Richie Coy will take the line away from him here as they come off turn number 4. Knopf has a great run coming off turn number 4. What will he do with it? He'll go to the bottom. He'll go to the top. He'll stay right behind Coy and push him. Now he'll go to the inside into 1-4 laps remaining in segment 2.
Back to the bottom of the racetrack. Knopf, plenty of room given by Coy on the top now. Door to door, they battle for the segment 2 win. They're pulled away from everyone else. The likes of third on back, Michael Blackner, Ryan Chapman, top 5. And by the way, Chapman, the 27 Victory Fuel Toyota. He's actually now the fastest man on the racetrack in 5th.
Yeah, and he has the fastest lap of the race with a 29.461. And that 27 has been really running every groove. He's gone from the bottom to the middle to the top now. They're nearly 3 wide back behind them, but there's action all over this place. Even though we only got 10 cars, you would think that this was a full field here. Battle for the lead yet again, coming to 2 to go in segment 2. Jamie Knopf working back down to the bottom, but can't complete the pass on Coy. He clears him off turn number 4, 2 to go this time by, and Coy pulls out to about a 3-car length gap over the 48 back to 2.
Staying in that right corner again, holding on to the lead, it is still Richie Coy. Coy in the front, Jamie Knopf in single file. The drivers work into turn number 3 right now, holding on to their spot. Top 2 selling away from everyone else to the line off turn 4. 1 to go here in segment number 2 at Charlotte.
And Jamie Knopf got a great run off turn number 4. He went down to the bottom. Coy's going to power back to the outside. It's been probably the preferred groove all night long here with these cars. What's he going to do? Knopf nearly just pitches the 19 up into the wall. He hits it. And now Richie Coy going to lose this battle for the lead here for segment 2. He drives it down into 3, but it's not going to be enough. Jamie Knopf, who was really pacing the field under caution in the beginning of segment 2, will win segment 2 over Richie Coy in a heated battle off turn number 2. You could say that he might have pinched him. Maybe the 19 just ran himself up into the wall. But Wesley, even though we had some cautions in the beginning of segment 2, great racing throughout the field here for the remainder of that second segment.
2 segments down. 65 laps in. Caution coming in. You know, everybody's going to be coming down to the pit lane. We've got 35 laps to go to decide the winner.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. Remember, we have another 25 laps remaining, which will end at lap 90, and then we will go 10 laps the distance all the way to 100. It'll be a 10-lap shootout to decide it all, but we still got to get through this last segment prior to the 10-lap shootout, which will be segment 4. So before they start segment 3, we'll take a step back. We'll be right back after this. This is the FTSR All-Star.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back. Just got done wrapping up segment 2 for the FTSR All-Star race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in 2024. Jason Rockfell, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten up here in the booth with y'all tonight on LSRTV. And we're about to start segment 3, which will be another 25-lap segment that will end at lap 90. And then we will go 10 laps the distance to the lap 100 mark to complete segment 4 for a winner-takes-all scenario. And Wesley, I think we pretty much just had 2 separate races. The first half of the race, we just had pure chaos. The second segment, yeah, we had some cautions in the beginning, but at the end of the day, it wrapped up in great racing throughout the entire remaining field that we had tonight.
I did, and obviously we saw where, the drivers pulled away another of... the top 2 pulled away from each other to battle it out in the final segment. But I'm still disappointed. Damn, Jason. I never would have thought that you get these guys out here and you tear stuff up like this left and right. And I know it's the All-Star race and all that, it's bragging rights and all, man, there's no points on the line and this and that. But Jason, man, I just can't believe they eliminated themselves. Is it the car? Is it trying to adapt with this because it's new for a lot of these guys? I'm not sure. But one thing for sure is I hope that these last 2 segments are not as festive as the first 2 have been. For sure.
Yeah, hopefully, for sure. No doubt about it. We still want it to be festive, just minus the cautions. Hopefully we can get some great racing action for the remaining 35 laps here towards the end of this race. And again, it's just the fact that this car has really been vaulted over the last, nearly 3 years. Some of these drivers haven't ran it in a long, long time. It's gotten updates between the racing surface, the tire model, the cars themselves, and obviously just some drivers just in general haven't ran it, period, because some of these guys got on the service when the next-gen car came out. And it's really created a lot of chaos. And again, these guys are dealing with cars that are on edge constantly. They have a little less, horsepower than the next-gen cars do, but they have that high downforce package. And these things are really, really sensitive to air and just being very, very unstable in the corners. And you've got to be careful. And the one thing that I think these guys aren't as used to is the tires. The tires have weared out tremendously all night long. We saw in the first 24 laps, there was basically over 2 to 2.5 seconds worth of tire fall off. So you got to keep in mind of that. Compared to the next-gen car, that doesn't have a lot of tire wear because of that lower profile, wider base tire compared to the old Goodyear Eagles with the 5 lug nuts compared to the one we use now. So definitely lots of factors tonight as to why we've probably seen one of the most chaotic all-star events we've seen on iRacing here on LSR TV. But we're about to get back going for segment number 3, which will begin on lap 67. We'll go to lap 90. Caution will come out, and then we'll go to the end of the 10-lap dash to the finish. Green flag is back out. Jamie Knopf leads him back down. Richie Coy does not get the restart he wants to. He'll have his teammates Michael Blackner and Jeff Chandler up to the outside back to turn 1.
Segment 3 underway, down to less than 10 cars to battle for the win of the All-Star race for Full Throttle. Knopf, the cart man, on the outside. Plenty of room. Coy, Webb, they battle back. It's Knopf to the lead as they work off 3 and 4.
Rick Webb nearly got into the 31 of Jeff Chandler, but backed out of it, and Jeff went up the track. Great job by those two drivers to not come together and create another caution tonight. But back to 1 and 2, Jamie Knopf has gotten in front of Richie Coy about a car length off turn number 2. But Michael Blackner is going to get a heck of a run down the back straightaway. What will he do with it? He'll elect to stay in line. Jeff Chandler, though, we know how aggressive he can be. He'll go to the bottom. Blackner will go up to the top with Rick Webb in tow, back behind him off 4.
Chandler alongside Blackner. Webb now falling back to the clutches of the top 5. There you see him, and then there's that pack, if you will, like a Daytona Draft or Talladega. They're now breaking in 2 separate packs. Knopf leads the cavalry. Bliss leads that second one, but Bliss right back to the whip to the back of the rear end of Webb's car, one of the open winners, and he's right back in 1 pack.
Oh.
There's a shot by Chandler to the 19 of Coy. Coy up the track out of 4, he saves the 19.
We almost just saw the return of the bump and run on a 1.5 miles in the Gen 6 car, and boy, oh boy, Jeff Chandler almost did the bump and run perfectly, but he backed out of it. Richie Coy got a little loose, but was able to maintain it and save it now here as they fly down past the back straightaway into turn number 3, single file. Drivers will go to the top, drivers will go to the middle, and drivers will go down to the bottom. Still Knopf leading by about half the car length off Coy, and then Jeff Chandler in third, back to the line here on lap 71.
Top 3 single file. That's Knopf, Coy, and Chandler, as Jason mentioned. Coy thought about jumping up on the high side to make a run. Behind them, Webb, Blackner, Tracy. Here we go. They're battling with Bliss now door to door as they work the back stretch. Going into turn 3.
And down the back straightaway, here comes the 52 to the inside of the 35. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Richie Coy to the inside of Jamie Knopf. He'll clear him off turn number 4. No, he won't. Actually, Knopf back to the outside with a head of steam. That is basically, like we mentioned, been the preferred groove all night long. You can make it work on the bottom, but if you're going to work it up on the top side, man, you got to get back in it, and you got to get back in it hard. And this time, Coy just barely clears the 48 down the backstretch.
Into 3. Knopf up the hill. Coy to the bottom. He'll go back to the lead. Chandler is the quiet man, dark horse in this race. Working to the inside, going around Knopf. Coy now protects that spot. He's the leader. Chandler's coming. Chandler on the bottom, but Knopf will not back away for second as they work off turn number 2.
If there's one driver in this field that you do not want to go up against into the corner, it is Jeff Chandler. But Jamie Knopf, you could say that he does not want to go up against anybody either. Nobody rather wants to go up against him. These are 2 of the hardest guys to pass probably here in FTSR, and when they try to make passes, boy, are they aggressive. They are going door to door back to 1 and 2 now. Richie Coy loving what he's seeing behind him as they have the dirty air. They battle side by side, drag each other back, but Knopf will be able to clear the 31 off 2.
All this happening now as we're approaching, believe it or not, 15 laps to go here in segment number 3 of the All-Star race, and things have definitely calmed down. Coy the leader, Knopf right to the rear end. He'll try to make a run to the outside, up to 24 degrees of banking, and Chandler ready to strike like a coiled cobra on those 2 as they work into 3.
And Knopf got a great run through 1 and 2. He'll work down to the outside now, rather up on the outside, back down into 3. He might be able to clear Richie Coy. He does, entering 3, but Coy with the bottom momentum, he'll carry it down in there, throws it into 3 and 4, but Jamie Knopf able to clear the 19, just barely wiggles off the corner now. 10 laps remaining here in segment number 2, or 3 rather.
Yeah, actually 15 laps to go, believe it or not, 15 to go. We got a lap number 90 for that fourth final shoot a while. It is still Jamie Knopf. This is a guy that's very well known, Jason, in the karting world. When I saw that name pop up the other night, I said, I know Jamie Knopf, the Virginia native, the cart man, as I call him, leads the cavalry. McCoy to second, Chandler third, under 15 to go in segment 3 at Charlotte.
And Knopf leads them back into 1 and 2, and off the corner, Richie Coy, though, this time elected to go to the middle. He'll get a little bit of a run down the back straightaway, in tow behind the draft wake of the 48 machine. Through 3 and 4 they go. Michael Blackner trying to work in that top side compared to Jeff Chandler, who runs the middle group, but nobody has anything right now for Jamie Knopf, who continues to lead here as they hit lap 78.
Back to turn number 1 and 2. It is still the leader, Knopf. McCoy losing ground, though. Coy in that victory fuel entry down to the back straightaway. It's Chandler, Blackner. They're all single file. That's the way they stand right now. Up into 3 here at Charlotte.
And Coy now gets back to the back bumper of Knopf, entering 3 and 4 pretty well there, but loses a little bit of ground off the corner. You see Jeff Chandler trying to work back to the rear bumper of Coy. It's about a 4-car breakaway right now in the race lead. 5th is held by Ben Tracy in that 35 Moose machine. He's working there on the bottom. Behind him, he's got Kyle Milliken. And some more battles going on back here. Robert Malikian continuing to use this outside lane, trying to get past Brian Bliss. Then you have Ryan Chapman battling with Rick Webb as they head off turn 4 this time.
Working back to the stripe. Look at Webb on the inside. Chapman, plenty of room given. Lets Bliss also hold his line. Malikian, though, almost into Bliss, and that could have been bad. He holds on, goes up the top of the safer barrier, keeps the 6th the wall. He loses ground on these guys now, but this is going to allow Blackner to pull away as they dive into 3.
And Blackner is going to get a little bit of ways away. And then you see Ryan Chapman there. Look at the move from Brian Bliss. Got a great run off turn number 4. Pretty much split the middle and goes to the inside of now Ryan Chapman through the dog leg, entering turn number 1. This is going on for the 7th position. They're 3 seconds back of the leader, but man, they're racing like it's for the lead because they know, Wesley, that this track position is going to be very key here for this final segment coming up.
Look at that beautiful looking USA number 3 car. If people did not know, that's a throwback, and I mentioned it earlier, to the 19th, of course, 6 Olympic Games that was held in Atlanta. Dale Earnhardt drove that car with the USA number 3. Beautiful looking car. There's Coy's car. That's a beautiful race. Well, all these guys, single file, under now 20 to go in the race. 9 to go, Jason, in segment 3 as they work again off the corner at Charlotte off 4.
And here's the thing, I think, Wesley, when it comes down to these closing laps in segment 3 is you're not saving tires like you normally would for the end of a race and then get going with about 10 or 12 laps to go and fire off with whatever tire you save. These guys are going to have that caution. So whatever they're doing right now, they can't save. They have to push as hard as they can, get up as many positions as they possibly can. You think Michael Blackner wants to start 4th here for the restart coming up? No, he wants to be 3rd. He wants to be 2nd. Heck, he would even love to be 1st if he could get there. And he's doing a great job. Look at Kyle Milliken, though, back behind them in 5th. He's starting to close in and make this a 5-car battle for the race lead into 1.
Really doing well, holding on to that spot, and all the while, the cart man is gone. Jamie Knopf, his Toyota number 48, almost a half a second back on Coy. Coy has got to hold off the likes of Blackner, as well as, of course, the 30 Chandler right on the rear end of his car, and closing in Milliken again in the 42. There's your top 5.
And Milliken will work down to the bottom of Blackner, entering 1 and 2. Wants that 4th place spot. Would love to get to 3rd or 2nd if he were able to here with just a handful of laps to go in segment 3. You just saw the 31 of Jeff Chandler. Looked like he nearly brushed the wall off turn number 2. Michael Blackner almost did the same. And while they battled, Kyle Milliken coming back into the picture. He tries to look for a peak again on the inside of Michael Blackner. Not able to get there, though. 15 laps remaining, but only 5 laps until they see that final, what could be final yellow flag of the evening. And then we'll start segment 4 for that 10-lap dash to the finish.
The run for the money, as you first said, 5 remaining now here in this segment 3. There goes now the driver on the inside of Chandler. Blackner, finally Milliken right there. Everyone single file, everyone respecting each other, Jason, as well. I think they finally got a handle into this car as they work back to the line. Under 4 to go in stage segment 3.
Yeah, I think these guys definitely have figured out these cars a little bit more with the more green flag laps that they're running, especially these 5 up here at the front. They are doing a fantastic job. And a few of these guys have been involved in wrecks tonight. Kyle Milliken, Jeff Chandler, Richie Coy even. I think the only one who probably hasn't been involved in a wreck is Jamie Knopf in that 48 machine. And he's pulled out now to nearly a second gap here over Richie Coy. So he's probably comfortably going to get this segment win here and restart on the pole for the 4th segment, which is going to be very interesting to see what he can do against guys who are going to have just as fresh tires as he'll have. We know that there's drivers here in this field that are remaining in this top 10 that are very strong on the short runs. We know that Jamie Knopf is good, but drivers like Brian Bliss, Kyle Milliken, we've seen what he could do on fresh tires in FTSR in the past, given the opportunity. So lots of guys are going to have an opportunity here. Milliken, though, with just 2 laps remaining, working down to the bottom of not only Blackner, but also Chandler back to turn 2.
A couple of laps left to go here in segment 3, and then it's the all-out gutter war, virtual fireworks to determine who will be left standing in that 10-lap segment. The Cartman, Jamie Knopf, the 48, leading the charge off the corner. Here comes the battles behind them. Chandler, Blackner to the inside. Malikian makes a driver left move on the 42. 2 for 1 as they go into turn number 1 and 2 for the final time here in Charlotte in segment 3 of the All-Star race.
And Jeff Chandler wants that position on Kyle Milliken. He brushed the wall off turn number 4, stacked up the 22 and 42, but they kept it back going. But this is the man who's going to restart on the pole for the 10-lap dash to the end. Can he hold on? We'll have to find out. Jamie Knopf, segment 2 winner, segment 3 winner as well here tonight at Charlotte. Oh, and Jeff Chandler brushes the wall, but I think barely just got that 3rd place position over Kyle Milliken. We'll see what time and scoring says here when they get back going. And Wesley, pick your poison, because it is time to throw down like it's Friday Night SmackDown on WWE. And you got guys who are going to be really competitive here, and they're going to have 10 laps to do it when we go back racing.
You know, it technically is Monday Night Raw, right? I mean,
Monday Night Raw, there you go. I should have said that.
10 laps remaining. Yes, sir. 10 laps remaining. This one's for all the marbles. This is when you should definitely be aggressive and you've heard of boot scoot boogie. This is when you punt and hit and gouge and fight, claw for everything you got in this last 10 lap segment. But the thing is process of elimination. I think we had to kind of trim the fat, as I've said before, Jason. Get rid of the maybe the drivers that just trying to figure out this something that we definitely discussed when we came on the air. And I think now that we can get down to this final 10-lap segment with 90 laps in, that this is your 10 best that know what this car does, what it provides, what it will do, what it will handle. And these 10 warlords are going to battle it out here for the All-Star race, the final segment.
It'll be 10 laps remaining when they go back green for segment 4 to see who brings home all the marbles here for the FTSR All-Star race. We'll take our last break. We'll get ready for the 10-lap shootout to see who will claim the 2024 All-Star race for the FTSR. We'll be right back in just a moment.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to what will be the last 10 laps of the FTSR All-Star Race. Jason Ronkefeller, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten here, live with you on LSRTV for the conclusion of the 2024 All-Star Race here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We just had pit stops for the final time, which could be the final time. We'll have to see if we have any more yellows. But if that was, Richie Coy able to grab the lead away from that 48 machine. And there's your Virginia811.com race summary tonight. We've had a total of 10 cautions tonight. Remember, the caution laps did not count. That was just from when they crossed the line. So that's just 4 laps up on the board, but did not count. And 10 lead changes tonight, which feels like we've had a million because of how many times we've seen drivers swap the lead. But Wesley, this is going to be interesting here. We're going to have 10 cars remaining that will be left to throw it all out there and give what they got. I mean, who do you think's going to get this win here tonight for the All-Star race? Because you could really pick any one of these guys in the top 10, even the top 5, obviously.
So this is what I'll say. Obviously, you know, Jamie Knopf, Cartman, has been really strong. But the guy that I think's playing possum, hanging back, probably 2 drivers. One, Jeff 31. Secondly, and I have to say I'm impressed with his drive, one of the open race winners, the 35 of Ben Tracy. And Jason, remember, he has got caught up in accidents left and right tonight, but somehow the Moose has hung right there in the fight to be here for this 10-lap finale.
I think the obvious pick here is going to be either Richie Coy or Jamie Knopf, but I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm going to tell you what, I think Kyle Milliken somehow is going to steal this away. And I say that because the guy has jumped up 12 positions since where he started. He's going to be up on the outside, so he's going to have the preferred groove when they get out of turn number 2. If he could get the runs, and we've seen him in the past with how good he can be on fresh tires, I think Kyle Milliken is a very aggressive driver on restarts. He knows what he's doing. I think Kyle Milliken has a very good shot if these guys get together or something happens to where he's able to get by him, or maybe just pure speed. We know he's been involved in wrecks tonight. He's got a little bit of damage, but who doesn't here tonight? You've had Richie Coy, who has led pretty much half of the race just like, you know, Jamie Knopf has. And it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, where they will all fall out here when this is said and done. 10 cars remaining out of the 20 we started with here tonight. The last driver, that's 11th, 37 laps down, Lane Allen. So we have had 10 cars on the lead lap for the last 37 laps pretty much. And it has been an interesting one. Caution filled in the first half, then pretty much clean and green in the second half of the race tonight. But it's all going to come down to these final 10 laps. We'll restart here with 9 laps to go when they come down. So make sure, if you haven't already, your fridge is next to you. Grab an ice cold can of soda, beer, whatever you want, a nice drink. Grab some popcorn. They're about to throw down here like it's Monday Night Raw, Wesley, not Friday Night SmackDown. Green flag is back out. We're underway for the final 10 laps of the FTSR All-Star Race, and Richie Coy and Jamie Knopf are door-to-door entering one.
Throw Raw out the window. SmackDown might become a Brawl. Here we go. Virtual underway. It's Coy to the lead on the whip. 10 laps for all the marbles of the All-Stars of the Full Throttle Sim Series. Into 3. Knopf up the hill. Coy to the bottom, and they work 9 to go on turn 4. 3 wide behind them.
Oh no, and they're wrecking behind him. Tracy goes around, and Richie Coy got loose on the apron, but saved it, and they split him in the middle. Oh, and there we go. Jeff Chandler up into the wall. Collects Kyle Milliken hard up into the wall. Off the ground goes Rick Webb. Might have went upside down.
No.
And the caution is out with 8 laps to go.
Wow. That's all I could say. Wow. I thought
You
they were
said
going
it
to
was
throw the
going
yellow
to be a
and Tracy
SmackDown
and put it in
throwdown.
the grass. There it is. Yeah, you watch it, and Tracy down in the bottom of the grass, and you just saw him fly through the turf. And all of a sudden, look at this, Chandler. And those are the key guys I was talking about. Chandler, one of them. And there's your guy, your pick, Jason. You were talking about to win it.
God dang it. Man,
Wow.
that stinks for Kyle Milliken. Such a good run. And Wesley, I think that really all started when Richie Coy got really loose on the bottom out of turn number 4 and stacked everybody up, and Jeff Chandler had to get out of it. And then when they got through the dogleg, Jeff Chandler had a big side draft moment and then got loose. He never touched anybody. He just got really loose when they got out of the dogleg, and when he tried to gather back up, the car just started overcorrecting to the right and ultimately collected a lot of drivers that had an opportunity, who have sat through the last 2 hours nearly to go for this win. And now it looks like we might have about 6 or 7 cars that will at least have a chance here for this All-Star win, man. And it has been crazy, crazy, crazy night. But still, the top 2 have been the most dominant of everybody tonight, are still there.
Oh, boy. And don't forget, if you love this racing, short track racing tonight, the Enjoy Illinois, well, I'm tied here, Jason. The Enjoy Illinois 175 at the bottom of the hour. iRacing on LSRTV. The Enjoy Illinois 140 laps for the trucks at Worldwide Technology Raceway and Gateway. And Jason, I just hope that it's not as caution-filled as this has been. My goodness, wow.
Well, I hate to tell you, even though we're still calling the end of this one, I'll tell you right now, there were 13 cautions for 50 laps in last year's race, and I'll make sure to note of that when we get to the broadcast next after this race, because it very well could happen. Hopefully it doesn't, though. But so far tonight, speaking of cautions with race summaries, let's take a look real quickly for the final time at the Virginia811.com race summary tonight. And it has been a caution-filled race, like we had mentioned. I believe that was our 11th or 12th caution. 11th or 12th, I believe. We were at 10 20 minutes ago or something. But, man, it has been a lot of yellows tonight. A lot of torn-up sheet metal. A lot of hurt feelings probably throughout the FTSR garage area. And by the looks of it, we're only going to have about 6, maybe 7 cars, like I had mentioned, that are going to try to battle it out here for this win. Look at Ryan Chapman up to 3rd in the 27 machine. We have not seen him in the top 3 all night long. And this was a guy who just missed out on the 2024A Truck Series Championship. Came up just short by 6 points. Or not 6 points, rather, but a few. Him, Cody McKinney, and also, I'm a little brain farted right now, but obviously it was a really, really big showdown for those guys for the Truck Series, and now they had the opportunity to go an all-star race here tonight, and it has been that. I mean, you could just see, look at this, at the beginning of this field, you can go back to the broadcast right now, it would look like a full 40-car field right now, but it is not. We have about 5 cars that are on the track right now that are survived this. Wesley, this has given me shades of the 2017 Talladega playoff race, where we had about 6 or 7 cars finish out of a 40-car field at Talladega. And that's not uncommon. We've seen it before. It happened. But a place like Charlotte, man, it has been a wild one here tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We got to get ready to reset. So much for us having a little break to recharge our batteries and prepare for the next one, because that's going to go out the window here. And we're ready to go back for green. Lights off on the pace car. 8 laps to go. When we come back to the green, it'll be 7 to go. And man, oh man, any and anybody up here now can win this race. The guys that we were saying were going to be guys to watch up in front, I think that's out the window now.
We are going to get ready for the restart. You're coming up with 7 laps to go. Pace car lights are off. We have 5 cars that are going to throw down and get ready to rumble like the wheel.
Jason Ben Tracy's in this thing. Look at the moose pulling up behind everybody. He's in the 7th spot. Look at this.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy. This is going to be absolutely insane here for this restart, to see who is going to be able to pick up this win. And we still have the opportunity for another caution. Hopefully we don't see that. We want to see these guys go bare-knuckle brawl to the end like it's the Royal Rumble. I love how I don't even watch WWE, but I'm throwing all these references out here tonight. So kudos to me.
Pennies,
I guess
brother.
I've had too
They're
much time.
stacking pennies.
Stacking pennies. They're stacking pennies like Corey LaJoy's podcast. Love that thing. Love Corey LaJoy. Here we go. Green flag is out. 7 laps to go in the FTSR All-Star race. Chapman gives a good push to Coy back to turn 1. But Jamie Knopf got a good restart up on the outside. They'll be door-to-door here off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. Coy with the advantage off 2 this time.
Bliss thought about powering on the outside lane, and they will go to the inside, 3 wide. Coy to the bottom. He's in the middle now. Blackner on the inside. He splits Coy. It's Knopf to the lead. Bliss off the safer barrier. Leader coming to the line. 6 to go. Bliss is free falling in 4.
Ryan Chapman made a great move down the back straightaway, and somehow it worked, but he falls back a position to 3rd from where he was in 2nd off the corner. Richie Coy has gotten back to Jamie Knopf. He is on the back bumper nearly. Ryan Chapman trying to figure out for a way to get around Richie Coy. He'll head down to the bottom, and Jamie Knopf is loving what he's seeing. The 27 slides a little bit, the 19 a little loose, and Jamie Knopf starts to pull away with 5 to go.
Chapman can't get the clear. He tried to make a move on Coy to the bottom. Coy didn't throw the block. He's just a faster machine. Chapman's got to refire again. Behind them, it is still Bliss right there up top. Down to the inside comes Malikian and Tracy working the back stretch as they go to 3.
Does anybody have anything left for Jamie Knopf? Coming to 4 laps to go. Chapman threw it in there, got really tight up against the safer barrier. He could be out of the picture, but if Coy and Knopf get side by side, the doors become wide open off the hinges for the rest of the field here. Back to 1 and 2. Coy on the back bumper, tried to go to the outside. He'll stay in line behind him on the bottom here as they exit turn number 2 with 3.5 remaining from Charlotte.
Put another lap on the board right now. Knopf up in the lead, followed by the machine of Coy. Here comes Chapman right there. Victory Fuel trying to gang up on Cartman. Working off turn 4 through the line. 8 laps to go in the All-Star race. Seeing dollar signs 1.
I think if Richie Coy wants to try to get to this 48, he's going to have to work to the outside lane, but he's got pressure behind him from Chapman, Bliss, and others. Back down the back straightaway. Chapman going to give Coy a little bit of a shot nearly into 3. He'll go to the bottom here while Coy finally able to work up to the top. Gets a little bit tight. The 27 to the inside. 2 laps to go. Knopf again loving what he's seeing in the rearview mirror.
To a lap of the All-Star race, and Cart is gone. Virginia's Jamie Knopf. His Toyota in the wind. To the whip. With to go. Coy battles now with Blackner. Correction, Chapman inside. Tracy is now powering into the side lane, looking for the leaders as they come to the white flag off 4.
White flag will come out this time off turn number 4. Will they make it to the line? They do. Brian Bliss up and into the wall. 1 lap remaining for the Virginia native of Jamie Knopf, who has been so dominant in the second half of this race, who has battled with Richie Coy. He's got to hang on for just another half a lap. Coy's going to have the run down the back straightaway into 3, but it might not be enough. Coy will send it off down into turns 3 and 4, but it's not going to be enough. Congratulations, checkered flag. Jamie Knopf wins the FTSR All-Star race at Charlotte.
Way to go for the Cart Man. He will pick up the win. It was a caution-filled All-Star race. All 3-4 segments to the end. Richie Coy 2nd, Ben Tracy 3rd, Ryan Chapman 4th, Robert Malicki and Brian Bliss and Rick Webb the top 7 drivers. Honestly, the rundown of all the leading at the end when this race ended, Jason.
And absolutely crazy to think we started with 20 and now we had 7 that were able to finish it. And Jamie Knopf is going to burn it down on the front straightaway. And while he does that, he'll celebrate for a moment. We'll take a quick break, and we'll gather it up with the race winner here in just a moment. Stick around. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to the conclusion of the FTSR All-Star race here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we have gathered up the man who dominated the second half of this race, Jamie Knopf. Man, you guys look like you had a handful in your sim rigs tonight, man. How was it out there driving this Gen 6 car again, and did you have fun? Obviously, I know you're the winner, but unbiasedly, man, did you have fun?
Yeah, I had fun. I'm sure I had a lot more fun than couple of the other guys back there, but yeah, I had this is my favorite car on the sim, so don't tell Brody that, because I give him a hard time because he likes this one and not the next gen. But this is my favorite car, and I slid through my pit box and qualified 11th, so I had to work my way up through the front there, and there was a couple incidents at the beginning that helped me close in, and then I was able just to ride. And Richie, he had a little damage on his right rear quarter, and he was real fast at the beginning of the run, so I just let him go, and which I actually couldn't even hold him back. But then the damage started hurting him after about 10 laps, and then I was able to get back by him, and then can't remember if that was stage 2 or stage 3. And then for these last 10 laps, I knew it was going to be real tough to hold him back, but I was trying my best, and then he beat me out of the pits, and then I think he got loose underneath me off of 4. I have to go back and watch, and I think we were 3 wide coming off of the turn 4 right there, and then I cleared them. So I have to go back and watch the replay there. But it was a heck of a battle, and yeah, I'm just thankful to survive and be up front.
Kart man Jamie Knopf, long time, my friend. We've known each other in the kart racing world forever. This race tonight seemed like the king of the concrete. What was your take of it, and obviously how was it trying to survive attrition and damage from so many cars wrecking early?
Yeah, when I took 2 tires on one of the pit stops, because I only had about 3 laps or 4 laps on my lefts, and I just wanted to get to track position because it was hectic back there. This thing's got that big old spoiler on the back, so it's almost like a Daytona package, and so I just wanted to get in front because it was side by side, and then you lose the nose when you behind them, and then when the car is on your outside and it'll get tight, and then there was bouncing off the wall. So I said, man, I just want to get the lead right here if 2 tires to hold me on for a few laps, and it was, and they actually had a big wreck behind me on one of the restarts, and that's what saved my car because I had no damage on my car.
Well, Jamie, with that being said, man, you come home with the All-Star win tonight. I'm sure you're excited to start 2024B, but before we do that, who do you got to thank for this awesome All-Star win here tonight, my friend?
I got to thank you guys for all the broadcasts you do. Y'all do a great job, and got to thank Brody for everything he does for the league. Even though this is a different car than we normally run, they run this one I think on Thursdays, but he does an awesome job for the league, and all the admins do also, and can't wait to next Monday night to get back at regular season. And I think y'all asked last time how I think my season would go. I'm hoping I can finish strong. I had a strong first A season and just had a couple bad lucks and a couple bad wrecks and took me out of a couple, but I was lucky enough to win a few, and then there's a few I should have won, and then I could say that for about 5 to 10 guys in there that could have won or should have won more than they did. So it's a great group of guys to race on Monday, and I always look forward to it.
Well, Jamie Knopf, there you go, man. Your All-Star race winner here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Wesley, it was a chaotic, caution-filled race, but when it all mattered in the second half, it was all Jamie Knopf. Your take of tonight's race.
Yeah, man, what a strong run for the kart man, Jamie Knopf, and everybody that was a part of this one. Obviously, maybe in hindsight, 2020 now, thinking about it and getting sights from drivers' thoughts, maybe this car was definitely difficult for some people to figure out. That might have been the product of why we had the racing be what it was. But when it's all said and done, Knopf is the all-star, and obviously, we're ready to see what the B schedule provides for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series beginning Wednesday with the trucks. They'll be at Charlotte.
And it should be a fun one. And remember, coming up, you'll have the Northwest Truck Series here on LSRTV starting at 11:30. Should be a fun one, but that's going to complete coverage here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. For everybody at FTSR, everybody at LSRTV and iRacing, I'm Jason Rockfell saying so long from Charlotte. We'll see you in 2024B in just a couple days.